Happy Thursday. What's going on, everyone?
What up?
Man, going on?
What, TQ and the boys. What's going on? I'm happy to see you guys again. Happy long. We're about 1,900 miles apart, but it's still good seeing your guys' faces now. So,
Bailey, you look like you're cold.
oh, I'm good. I just got out. I just got from outside. It's actually, they say it's warm here now. It's 24 degrees is hot. So, yeah.
It's a heat wave.
Yes, no, really. They say, "Oh, we're in a heat snap." It's so crazy. I stand out like a sore thumb up here, but no, I'm super happy. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to make it on the live night, but I'm glad that I was able to get back. You got to travel like 45 minutes to anywhere to civilization in either direction, or longer to even go to town. So if you forget something in town, you got to wait a week or so before you can go back to get it. So, but thankfully, there's a Dollar General like right up the road from the base, so that makes sense. I mean, that's helpful. But no, yeah, this is gonna be a good event, good live tonight. We're first half of this. I know Sean had posted it earlier in the week. About the first 10 to 15 minutes, we're gonna go through the Lake Panasoffkee captains meeting, answer any questions you guys may have, but stay on. Don't go anywhere, because on the second half of the show, we're gonna have, as of right now, we have Mitchell, Blake, Abby, both in the background here, and maybe a couple others that are going to hop on. We're going to talk Bassmaster, Ocalapalooza, all of those sorts of events that we've had going on in the over the past couple weeks, to kind of highlight those guys and give them an opportunity to kind of just talk to them. Y'all know who Chris Mitchell and Blake Abbey are, but we want to give them an opportunity to come on and just kind of recap their past February, which was pretty eventful for the majority of all of us. And I see Amy just popped in on the background as well. So Amy is also going to be coming on here as well to kind of talk a little bit about Ocalapalooza and her Bassmaster experience as well. So thank you guys for hopping on. We'll bring you guys on into the show very shortly. But we do want to take care of our normal business. This is the captain's meeting for Lake Panasoffkee for this Saturday's event. So make sure that you guys drop your name in the comment section below so you can receive credit for that. We will be monitoring it. Make sure you guys drop that in the comment section there. And then if you're watching this after the fact, still also drop your name in the comment section as you guys are watching it. But yeah, we will just kind of get started. Todd, you want to kind of start the Panasoffkee captains meeting? Then we can go over. I guess I can go over the normal stuff that I normally do. It's the same thing. We're more than halfway through our season. Nothing here drastically has changed for the Lake Panasoffkee event. So on Fishing KAS, if this is if you're not familiar and this is your first event fishing with us, make sure you register through the Fishing KAS app. Registration closes on the 11:59 on Friday night. So make sure you guys are signed up there. As of right now, we're sitting at 30 anglers registered, which is phenomenal. We are getting to the end of our season. So if you need that final 2 or 3 events towards your qualification for the state championship, make sure you do so. The last I checked, towards AOY, we are only sitting at the top 11 have 6 events going towards their AOY points at the moment. I think Todd, you are that 11th angler. Everyone after Todd has only hit 5 events towards those AOY points. Yeah, I'm tracking, Thomas. I spoke with those guys out at Tracy's Point this morning, and we're actually going to talk about that too in regards to that tournament and what's going on out of there. So we'll definitely stick around for that. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. 30 anglers registered. Details for this event are the same as always on Tourney X. So you're going to be able to launch at 6:30. Lines in at 7. Lines out at 3. Last photo submission is 3:30. The mandatory check-in, this is the only thing that has changed slightly for this event, is we are going to have the mandatory check-in time. Our award ceremony is going to start at 4:30. And that's going to bring me into the benefit tournament that's going out at Tracy's Point. I spoke to those guys today, and that is where we are going to be having the post-event award ceremony. They are weigh in at 3 o'clock at Tracy's Point for that tournament. And the majority of those folks are going to be out and gone by 4 anyways, because they're going to weigh in and leave. So we are going to be, we have the docking and stage area there starting at 4:30 on Saturday. So that our meetup is going to be at Tracy's Point, that fishing lodge there. We'll post all of that information on our Facebook page. We were looking at a public park at the very south end of the lake, south central part of the lake. But for safety reasons, for these public boat launches, we have gotten notification from a few folks that there's been some heavy police activity at them recently. So we want to make sure that we are maximizing the safety and security for you guys. And I think the best overall part of that is going to be at Tracy's Point this coming Saturday for the award ceremony. If you guys plan on launching out of Tracy's Point, it is a $5 launch fee there, and they do have cameras. So make sure you're paying your dues and so on when you launch, or they'll come and I told them to get in contact with me and we'd handle it accordingly. But yeah, hopefully that answers any questions for you. I will go on the Fishing Chaos app and update the mandatory check-in time and that location just to annotate and what time it's going to be in the location. Sorry for the last minute location. We were just trying to find a place to do it, and we were trying to get a hold of the Tracy Point, the owner who's not in Florida. He's up north. I was finally able to get a hold of him to verify that we could have our tournament there, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are having it at a safe location and not just somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So just make sure you guys are tracking that. What we're going to do next year, and I spoke to the guys, now that I'm still going to be busy, but now that where I'm at, I'm going to really focus next year when we're doing our schedules to kind of already contact some of the fish lodge areas that have like stages and places to host these events, and we're gonna put those the post award meetups already kind of the location and that throughout the year. And if anything changes, obviously we'll make our updates, but just so that you guys can plan accordingly. Again, that's my bad. I've been in the middle of a lot moving and everything, and it somewhat slipped my mind, and Todd was trying to go by there and talk to him, and they weren't there. So that's why it was kind of a last minute on this one. I apologize for that one. I really do, but we'll make sure it's better. And then something we're going to do next year as well is we're going to post public or lodging options too in our registration for anglers to be able to go when they register. In the tournament description on Fishing Chaos, they can click links to campgrounds and or lodges around the lakes for you guys to stay at, instead of just sleeping at the boat ramps, and so on and so forth. So we'll kind of do that to help you guys a little bit, but that's going to be the plan moving forward. I'm going to have Todd talk safety, and Sean's going to talk the water eligibility and boat ramps here. But pending any questions about the event details, nothing's really changed other than the location or the time for the award ceremony and the location for that.
Mitchell's got me tripped out in the background.
Yeah, and we did see your post about the camping or overnighting at the boat ramps. Yeah, make sure, hey, you guys, that is 100% your responsibility, and you're held liable for that if you're breaking any laws. If it's posted to where you can't stay overnight, or no overnight parking, if you're breaking the law, I know at Coleman they have cameras out there that is monitored by the sheriff's office, so they will come out there, dispatch officers to come out there to kick you out if you're sleeping at the Coleman boat ramp.
Yeah, and they have officers and FWC out there constantly.
Yeah,
like we said before, like if you choose to do so, it's at your own risk. If you choose to sleep at boat ramps, some are more lenient than others, as we all are aware of. But
yeah. All right, Todd, if you want to go over safety, then we'll do I don't see any questions in here, just folks posting their names. So we'll annotate that. But yeah, Todd, if you want to go over the safety stuff real quick, and then Todd or Sean for the boundaries, then we can jump into the fun part.
Sure, absolutely. Like always, number one safety is wear your PFD at all times. The only time you can take off your life jacket is if you need to change out some clothing, and then you just take it off and put it right back on. Do not leave your life jacket off. The only types of life jackets that are permittable are the full zip up or the over the shoulder strap. The weight inflatables are not allowed in our tournaments. If you're launching before daylight, make sure you are running your 360 light along with your flag on there. If you're running a motor, make sure you had navigation lights, your red and your green going. Again, flag is required at all times, and make sure that your flag and your light is flying above your head on your kayak. If it's down really low, nobody can see it, and it does no good. So it's not very safe. Let's see, what else on safety? Just be mindful of any kind of weather conditions. It looks like we're supposed to have a great day, but it can get windy at times out on Panasofsky because it is a very shallow lake and the waves can get pretty bad. So be careful there. There's a lot of alligators out there. Normally they don't, mess with you, but just be mindful of any of those creatures. Also, be mindful of any boaters that are out there. As they mentioned, there's going to be another bass boat tournament going on. I think they said there's probably about 30 boats. So just be on your head on the swivel, watching all of that. Outside of that, on safety, I think that's about got us covered.
Yeah, I think you got it all, Todd.
Yeah. You hit the boundaries?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Before we get too far into it, I won't be down there this weekend. So I saw some of you guys last weekend on Johns Lake, the mega bass fishery of Central Florida. There's some giants swimming around there allegedly.
There are.
I don't think any. I mean, Zach Bass pulled it off. So congrats. I see he's in the comment section. But just to highlight some things I saw when I was judging last week. I gave you guys, some of you guys, a phone call. Just overhead photo shots. If you're gonna angle your board, which a lot of us do, is you gotta angle your camera also, and make sure you get a good overhead shot. Because if you don't, observations was boards angled, fish on the board, cameras over top the trail edge of the board towards the fish's tail, and it looks like I'm looking down the fish's body towards the bump. So it was hard for me to physically say whether that fish's mouth was touching the bump and was fully closed. So a couple of you guys got a phone call from me and you corrected your issues. Other than that, there was no major issues with photos. Locations were good. Just be aware. I know Chris brought it up. Todd brought it up today. Was fishing KAS was acting kind of glitchy the last couple of days. I checked it out today and it seemed to be fine. But just make sure you guys are updated. Run the test on Fishing KAS and make sure it's functioning properly, because the last 2 days, Todd was having some issues today. Chris and I think Daryl brought it up yesterday. It was acting kind of glitchy with them. But
what's happening with it is whenever you log into it, if you've got that tournament saved as like your default, it would normally open right up into that tournament. What it's doing is it's going to the all tournament page, and you have to go to your dashboard and find the tournament that you're going to upload to.
All right, appreciate it, sir. But yeah, other than that, I followed up my post with eligible boat ramps. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now that I got 2 screens, which is classy. And you guys should be able to see Panasofsky, and our far eastern boundary is right here on 301. You'll see my cursor over top of it. And then up here on 44, you have a boundary, and down here on 48, you have a boundary down here. So zooming in a little bit closer,
Hey,
if you look,
Sean, real quick, can you bring your mic a little bit closer? It's cracking a little bit.
I have a really deep voice. I'll have to talk softer.
I just know. I think it's the mic on your headset there.
You got me better now.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, right over here we got Shady Brook, Greenway Park. If you look at the images, looks like a pretty decent ramp right here off 75.
It's good. I've launched from there before. It's good. The only issue there is there's a low-lying bridge that it's a 75 bridge that you have to go under right there. It's pretty low, so you might have to watch your power pole and your fishing rods when you head to underneath the bridge to head towards the lake.
All right. So I don't think we made eligible or Shady Brook eligible last time, but it is open. It's inside the boundaries. We got Coleman. Pretty sure most of you guys are well aware of Coleman over here on the east side of the lake. Then we go up here. We got, this is Tracy's Point, right? Everybody's well aware of that. Lake Panasoffkee Fishing Lodge.
Yep. That's where the award ceremony is going to be.
Yes, right there. Now, right here, we got Marsh Bend Outlet, right? There's a launch down here called Outlet River. That's an eligible launch. And then we got Wysong or Wisong. So you can launch either above the dam or below the dam. So just be careful around there. And we did not allow you to do it last year, but this little boat ramp glide, you're not allowed to drag your kayak across there. If you want to go above the dam, you got to get out of the water, relaunch your kayak on the other side. I apologize. We didn't allow you to do it last year. We're not going to allow you to do it this year. Further to the north, right off 44, you got Rutland Boat Ramp over here off the northern boundary. And the only launch that's outside the boundaries is Windhaven, right? If you launch at Windhaven, you got to push above 48 bridge, and then you're in eligible fishing water. All right, so we're going to allow that one. Pretty wide open. There's some boundaries up here of creeks you can get way back into. So have your Google Maps app available. I don't think a lot of you guys are even going to make it way back up in there, but if you do, just be aware there's 2 boundary points up in there. But Sean, any question? Go ahead.
I do have to add here. So I will tell you this: cell phone service in these areas can be spotty. For this particular event, I know last year there was an angler that had went up into some section of the creek there by the Juniper Creek Wildlife Management Area inside. I don't know exactly where, but they did not have good enough cell phone service to upload their fish in a timely manner. So if you do plan to fish those areas, which is all fine and dandy, just make sure that you prep yourself enough time to be able to get back to the boat ramp, load up your stuff, and get your fish submitted by that 3:30 deadline. That is going to be the angler's responsibility, right? You're going to take that risk to go up there and catch those fish that you found, which is fantastic. Just make sure that you guys are doing your part and having the angler responsibility to get off of the water in enough time to submit your photos. There was also that location in general, cell phone service can be spotty, so we are allowing the low photo resolutions to be a form of uploading your fish. However, when it comes to that, yes, it does work, but you can submit your fish. But if we have questions and we can't make be able to accurately tell how long, or if the fish is making or touching its the mouth is touching the bump, or the tail is touching like 16 1/4, I'm going to call you or text you and have you text me at some point a picture of that fish to validate it. We're there. Remember, we have a grace period in which to make those photos official. If I can't, I'll be judging this event. Me and Sean are both going to be judging. If you guys look at your photo and you can't determine if that's a 1/4 and a 1/2 inch increment, if the tail's touching it, if it's just completely blurred out, then we're not going to be able to accurately judge that fish. And we'll reach out to you in a very timely manner to make sure that you guys can submit a proper photo. Just through text to us would be fine. And then hopefully we don't have any issues with that though. But yeah, pending any questions on that, that should be it.
No, I was just going to say, if you get a call from a 919 number or a 318 number, it's myself or Chris. Yeah. Our number is pretty blasted all across the page, so just go ahead and save it. We're either going to call you on Facebook Messenger like I was doing with some of the guys, or I'm going to call your cell phone. So
yeah, and we'll also, if you have any questions, I've had a couple anglers messaging me through the Fishing KAS app itself. There is a messaging function on the app where you can get to us directly. We'll be monitoring all of those as the tournament kind of goes on. But yeah, it's going to be Sean and I for pretty much the remainder of the year, and Daniel, of course, over at the FKB or over at the KBFTN up in Tennessee. It's going to be us three working together to make sure those fish get approved. And any information or questions that we may have or problems we may have, you're gonna hear it right away. So we appreciate your guys' understanding, but we need you guys to submit the photos as clear and overhead as possible. No drastic angles. No, the one thing I have seen a lot of are part of the fence, the bump of the catch board is cut off. Make sure the entire bump all the way to the identifier are clearly visible. It's an overhead shot. I know you guys get excited when submitting your photos. Just please, please, please make it a point to double, triple check your photos to make sure that they are accurate. Yep.
A follow-up off of photo criteria. We allowed it last tournament, pinching of the tail. This week, we're back to our rules, no pinching of the tail.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, because
Yep.
some of you guys did it last time, which is completely fine. We're following under KAS rules, but this week on pan, no pinching of the tail, and there's proper hand placement. So go back and go and refresh, because as you guys are going through KAS and our simultaneous FKBT, I had to check myself specifically, because I was just like, why are they touching there? I was like, oh, I had to pull back before I declined some of you guys' fish or denied some. But
Yep.
this is the rule this week as per FKBT rules. So proper hand placement, just don't make the mistake.
Yep, I'm just kind of showing some. This right here, I wanted to bring this up to you guys. This is what I was talking about when it comes to when you guys upload photos in low resolution. Can you tell me what, like, it's very hard to see that that's a 17.25 or 17.5, right? But this is what the judge will see with low resolution there. Even on the app, that's what that looks like. So it makes it extremely, extremely hard. So make sure that your photo, your lenses and everything are squared away so that we can be able to zoom in to verify that that isn't actually a 17.5. Those leaderboards, those or the Yak Attack leaderboards, it's extremely hard, especially with that glare there and the low resolution, to determine the actual length of that fish. So that's something to be very, very mindful of whenever you guys are submitting fish to the leaderboard there. Even no resolution, it's still slightly hard sometimes with the glare. So
yeah, I was going to say, when you upload low resolution, and even on my computer screen, when I zoom into it, the lines start getting broken and offset in low resolution mode. So it's just obviously repeating what Bailey said. Make sure you have a good clean shot of that fish, or it's going to be really difficult. And we're going to be definitely asking for a follow-up, because I had to get Todd to do a double take for me and be like, can you validate this? Do you agree with this?
Yeah, and if we have any questions, what we're gonna do is we're gonna annotate those, and Todd or someone at the meetup is going to be able to verify those photos at the meetup for those fish. Does that sound good, Todd?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, if you can't have cell service and you haven't uploaded your fish, or you uploaded low resolution, we have any questions, we're just going to send a list to Todd of an angler and what length and fish that needs to be looked at. And you guys just walk up to Todd, show him that fish and verify the length, Todd, and then just let us know and we'll approve it. We want to make sure that we give you guys do that, but we got to do our due diligence as well.
Yeah, and one other thing, I don't want to draw this out, but just putting the proper number in for your fish. I know a lot of you guys, I credited you like 1/4 inches on probably 6 photo submissions where you guys shorted yourself a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
There was a couple that you guys went over a 1/4 inch. So just take your time and submit the accurate number. If not, we'll correct it for you. And if we deduct a 1/4 because it's not quite touching the line, we'll let you know. We'll leave you a note in there. But a lot of you guys, there was like six photos where I gave you guys a 1/4 inch because it was well past the line, or touching. So other than that, I mean, it was other than that, there was minor issues last week. So good work out there.
I do have Christopher Lindsay reached out. All times are back to normal as far as launch and lines in. Yes. So the only reason things were a little different for the Ocala Harris event is because we were following Kayak Adventure Series. Everything now, like I mentioned earlier in the pod or this little captain's meeting, everything is back to normal. And Todd just posted it in the chat as well. 6:30 launch, 7 a.m. lines in, 3 p.m. lines out.
Yeah. The only thing that's different is check-in is 4:30.
Yep, 4:30. Yeah, that's when the award ceremony is going to start. If you guys cannot make the award ceremony for whatever reason, again, follow that same procedure. Reach out to myself, message me, and let me know that you're not going to be able to make it. Or Todd, Jeff Gallagher, David Myers, Todd, myself, Sean, whoever. Just message us. Clutter, any of these directors and the folks that are helping us out, just make sure you text one of them and let them know so that we're tracking to make sure that you guys are off the water safely.
And if you can get there earlier, that will be great too. That will help us speed up so other people can, get home. If we get everybody there earlier, then we can definitely go through the awards ceremony and people can get back on the road to get to their families.
All right. I think that wraps up the captain's meeting. What do you guys think? We covered everything. I don't see very many other questions in here, so we're going to start it.
If you have a question, drop it in the comments, and we'll answer it while we're going through the other stuff.
Yeah, so what we're going to do next is, we're going to welcome in a couple of the anglers a little at a time, and then we'll kind of transition and kind of walk them throughout. For those that are coming on, I know we got Mitchell, we got Blake Abbey, Amy Brown, and then Seth Taylor and myself. We're going to be some talk. As we talk and you finish up, you're more than welcome to stay on. But then if you guys have to go, I know it's Thursday night, you got family. You guys are more than welcome to leave and go take care of that now that we've finished the captain's meeting. We don't want to keep you guys on here longer than you need to.
Are we going to interview you first? Or are we
no.
No.
Come on.
Don't worry about me. I want to make sure that we just highlight a lot of. We're going to start with the Bassmaster as well. So I know Chris Mitchell, Blake Abbey, Amy, Seth, all of them competed in the Bassmaster. So I kind of want to bring them all on and kind of have them talk a little bit about their experience and kind of what their thought process was, how their days went, and then we'll go to the Ocalapalooza a little bit later on and talk individual and team stuff with them because we got first place the team actually here, Seth and Blake. So talk with them and just kind of and we got Amy for the highest place female angler there for Ocalapalooza as well. So we'll talk with them about that a little bit later on. But first and foremost, who do you want to bring on first, Todd?
Whoever.
All right, let's bring on.
Let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring Mitchell on since Bassmasters was before Ocalapalooza.
Yep, let's do it. And we'll do that, and then we'll just work down. Mitchell, we'll bring on. Look at him.
He's all snuggled up.
He's got
what's up?
Plush baby.
What's going on, Mitchell? How you doing today?
Just chilling.
Chilling?
Yep. Squirtle.
I see you got your Kayak Adventure Series hat on too. That's a slick looking hat.
Yeah, I like it. Fits good.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So we're gonna bring you on, Mitchell. We're gonna talk. You just posted your Bassmaster, tournament to your YouTube channel. You just posted that a couple days ago?
Yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday. So it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to bring you on. So for those of you that haven't seen it, you guys can go and watch his Bassmaster 2 days. It's about a 35-minute video. His longest
39.
It's his longest one to date. So he's moving up there. So definitely go out there and give that a watch. Maybe on your way to Pan, to keep you awake at 3, 4 in the morning when you're going on the road. Maybe you guys can tune in and watch that. Give them a like and subscribe. But Mitchell, yeah, we'll talk to you a little bit. Todd, I'll turn it over and let you kind of handle that. And then if we have anything else, we'll kind of hop in.
All right. Well, let's do this like we normally do. Mitchell, tell us a little bit about yourself for those of us that may be newer to the club or newer to the area. What we don't know about you, just tell us a little bit where you're from, how you got into fishing, kayak fishing, and all that good stuff.
Okay. So I was born in Virginia, raised here when I was like 6 or something like that. So fishing's always been a thing. You know, my dad took me fishing when I was like just a little baby, and I've been into tournament bass fishing for as long as I can remember. I just liked watching Bassmasters on TV and stuff like that. Started out doing like the co-angler stuff on the bigger side of things, and then I try to do as much local stuff in the boat as well. But then the boats, the co-angler stuff started getting kind of expensive, and I didn't like fishing in the back of a boat. So I kind of looked over at the kayak stuff. You know, that's when kayak tournaments starting to grow a little bit more and more. And once I did it, I just fell in love with the whole kayak tournament stuff, and it's just the rest is history. Everything's just full force kayak tournaments. Um, yeah, I mean, it's all I ever do. I just fish and work just to make money so I can go fish. So, yeah.
The American dream.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about for those of you that have seen probably his Facebook. Mitchell switches kayaks like he changes his underwear. It seems like so he's in a new kayak. He's made some moves here. And well, or I guess I should start out. What's caused you to make some of these moves that you made? Like what are some plans that you have in store for kind of advancing where you're at right now in kayak bass fishing?
Yeah. So the reason why I changed kayaks so much, um, I'm just trying to find like the platform that I feel the most comfortable in, and I think I have it now, but time will tell. Um, yeah, it's just a thought process that I have all the time. It's kind of dangerous, you know, just dropping money on a kayak and then selling it in like 6 months. You don't make any money off of that. You're losing money every time. So, but I mean, it's just something that I want to have experience in all kinds of kayaks, just so I can have an idea when people ask questions on what kind of kayak they want. Um, and also trying to find the right platform for me to be comfortable in, which is the one I'm in now is the XTR 130. If you guys haven't seen, but that thing, it's like I'm almost back in a bass boat again. So
I've seen there's like 4 other anglers that I know. Sean just bought one. I know Richard White, I believe, had just bought one. I know there's a couple other guys in our club that have bought a few of them as well. So and I know there's a few that are thinking about buying an elephant. So I know them watching your videos are definitely going to be a turning point and making a lot of folks gravitate towards that particular platform. So
yeah, I mean that kayak is a lot more versatile than you think. It looks big and it is a little heavy, but you can get through some stuff even without like a strong trolling motor like I have. Even without that, you can still paddle that thing through the grass and it's not a problem at all. So it's a lot more versatile than you think. You just have to get out on it and try it. I mean, my kayak's open to anybody that wants to try it. So
Do you have a rudder on it?
what's up?
Do you have a
Oh
rudder?
yeah, I have a rudder on it.
yeah. Well, I know for Bassmaster you had ordered this kayak, but it wasn't necessarily in. You were in the PWR, right, for the Bassmaster event that you were doing in the events leading up to that in the beginning of the year, right? That's still a great platform, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, you still have it. You still have the PWR, and you have plans for that too, which I think is cool. So, yeah, the Bonafide has definitely made a big turn in that as well. So.
Yeah, I got the PWR before the XTR was even announced, so I thought the PWR would be like the final one, but it wasn't. So
Yeah.
yeah, what I'm gonna be using the PWR for is just like more river kayak stuff, and I'll put like a stern mount motor on
Yeah.
the back of that. Um, it's just something more of a throw and go kind of deal. So I'm keeping it. I still love that thing, but
Yeah.
the more serious tournaments and stuff like that, the XTR is just it's crazy.
You won a lot of tournaments out of that PWR, so you won a
Yeah.
lot of money doing that. So I mean, it's a phenomenal kayak. I know you were in that. Harrelson was in one whenever he won Ocalapalooza. I've been in one. I love my PWR. I know there's quite a few anglers that are interested. If you're interested in wanting to try out a PWR and XTR, those are definitely 2 of the top kayaks, in my opinion, that are really, 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 for stability and the quality of the build are phenomenal. But enough talking about the kayaks. Let's talk about the Bassmaster event on Kissimmee. Can you tell us a little bit about, leading up to that event, kind of how much preparation you put into it, with it being your home lake, the pressure, right, and just kind of your overall experience, right? Because I believe that with your goals and things that we've talked about in the past, like what you're trying to do, right, that's kind of like the perfect storm. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about that, and then if y'all have questions about it, we'll pull up some and answer them here live for Chris Mitchell. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I only practiced during the official practice time. I took a week off work just to jump around different spots to see what the fish are doing. Throughout the whole week, I could not find something. I couldn't find anything that was like super solid pattern. So I'm just about Wednesday or Thursday. I'm kind of scrambling, just like not feeling good about it. And then on Friday, I was gonna take the day off just to get all my stuff, organized and be ready for Saturday. But I just had a feeling I had to go check one more thing. Since the water was warming up, I know there was no more cold fronts coming down, and I knew a spot where they would be, starting to stage up the spawn or already spawning. And good thing I went and checked it out, because I found one big fish that boiled out of nowhere. I didn't explain it in my video, but I was looking around. I hear this boil, and I look over, and I thought it might have been an alligator just sliding into the water on a stick. And I went over there and made a cast at it, and it was a big one, just hit it. And I didn't want it. I didn't want to set the hook and mess it up, so I just try to hold pressure on him. Hopefully it spits it out, but it would not spit it out. And so I kept pulling and pulling and pulling, and eventually just sput it out and freaked out. But I knew that fish was there, so I made a plan to go check it again on tournament day. And as I was leaving that area, it wasn't in the video, but I had a few more bites like that where I was just kind of holding fish. I wasn't setting the hook, so I was like, all right. So they're on these things. They're on the sticks and the pads, and just like some little bit of isolated grass too. So I mean, I knew I had a spot where I wanted to go, and it just all panned out on the last day of practice. And
It wasn't the first spot you went to, though, right?
No.
It wasn't. Day one, you didn't go right to that spot, right?
No,
you went.
no.
Yeah. So I mean, and from where you started to where that was in kayak fishing alone, that was the runs, right? You spent a lot of time not even fishing day one.
Yeah, day one, 30 minutes to my first spot. That was completely opposite direction, just because I had a good bite on this brush pile that I have. And it was like an hour and 30 minutes to my spot, the spawning spot. So
Yeah.
it was just a lot of running and timely. I didn't get to my second spot till like 11 or 10:30 or something like that.
And that's when you put up 100 inches from 11 to whatever time it, y'all, 3 o'clock, I think, was lines out.
Yes, three
Yeah.
o'clock.
So from 11 to 3 is when you put up the majority of your 100 inches for day one, right?
Yes. Yep.
Can
Yeah,
I-
I got
can I
my
put-
last.
Can I
What's
throw
up?
something in here?
Yep.
This is a prime example of not to burn your fish up when pre-fishing, right?
Yes.
Because when you start sore lipping them, then they won't bite a lot of times the next day. So you just got to let them
Yeah.
bite and not stick them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you did a great job of managing those fish right there by not sticking them.
Right. Yeah. Once they start feeling that pressure of like something's not right, they'll move off. They'll move off. Who knows where, but not all the time. But it will happen. But yeah, I mean,
I've caught a fish in the morning and it broke off. It had a fluke. It broke off. I went to lunch. I came back and fished that area again, and I caught the fish. That it was a 23 and a half. I caught it, and I reeled it in, and I was measuring it for the tournament, and I looked down the throat, and it had my Zoom fluke in the back, and I was able to remove the hook and the fluke and everything, thankfully, because I knew it was in the process of swallowing it, and that probably would have killed the fish. But I hooked it and I caught it again that afternoon. I think I was on the phone with Sean or one of those guys and showed them it. It was the craziest thing. So they will bite again, or maybe it was just that fish, but that was my one time where I was like, if I hook, I thought the same thing, and I'm like, well, maybe they will bite if they're hungry enough, but or you piss them off enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But no, not burning through your fish, right? And then so day 2, so day 1 from 11 to 3, you were able to put up, I believe it was right at 100 inches, right?
Yeah, I didn't get my last 19 till the very end, before I had to go to the ramp to make it to, get off the water on time.
Yeah.
So that my 100 inches was at the very, very end.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's awesome. So day 2, you go home, right? You're probably freaking out a little bit. I can only imagine, knowing you, and not freaking out, but you're excited. You're probably jittery, right? So going into day 2, yeah, right. You're pretty confident. You're on your home lake. You're on Kissimmee. I'm not sure how many people were there. I wouldn't imagine too many, right? But you're on your home lake, Kissimmee, where you're comfortable, and you got 100 inches on day 1, right? So you're feeling pretty good. There was a female angler from her and her husband fish. She put up like 101 3/4 or something, right? And then you had another angler that was Sherman that was over that 100-inch mark. So there's 3 of you guys. So pretty confident leading into day 2. So what was day 2 like? What was your game plan?
Game plan was going straight to that spot. No, I wasn't going to go mess with the brush pile stuff or anything else. I just went straight to that because I knew that I left fish there, and I just wanted to pick everything apart that I could. Because on day 1, I didn't have time to absolutely pick everything apart. Just the obvious stuff that I did. And then on day 2, I really like dialed in what I wanted to fish. And I really picked it apart, but then my hook sets weren't all that great. So it was like I didn't fish as clean, but I still did okay.
You got big bites. I think we saw the frustration in your video where you were visibly upset because and you started talking to yourself about the hook sets too, right? So you were sitting there and so I mean that you've seen Christine Fisher, she talks about that as well, right? Whenever she was losing fish, people in her comments were blowing up about how her hook sets were weak or whatever. I don't personally know. I'm not going to tell you your hook sets are weak. But I mean, at the end of the day too, like you lost, from what I saw in that video, around 3 really good fish.
Yeah. And
it was happened when they jumped. So how do you, as anglers, and we'll talk a little bit more about how do you guys, when you have a solid hook set, what's the best technique or way to keep fish like that jump from not jumping off the hook? Because that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, keep your rod tip down. You want to try to keep that fish down.
Yeah.
And when you keep your rod tip down, you're going to try to keep pressure on them too. Because if you have it up in the air and the fish jumps, it's just going to create slack in the line, and it's going to the fish will come off. So you want to keep your rod tip down to keep that fish down. So when he comes up, your line's pulling down on him.
Yeah.
So it keeps more tension, and that's the one thing you want to try to do. But it's kind of hard in a kayak sometimes because you got wind you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Just the way your kayak's position can drastically affect your hook sets too. Like just the hook set itself. So on day 1, I had a steady wind pointing me in the right direction where I could get a good hook set. But on day 2, we had like hardly any wind. So my kayak was always moving around, like doing whatever it wanted to do. And so sometimes my hook sets weren't the greatest because I just wasn't in the right position.
Yeah. And that's for kayak anglers to me. And I know we're going to talk with some other anglers. That's like the biggest thing, because you can set the hook right, but like at the end of the day too, if you don't have the right technique in trying to keep the fish from jumping, or it can be really to me, it really demoralizes the heck out of me. I'm like, man, I thought I set the hook good on there, and then I can't control kind of like I've lost so many fish after they jump. It's just and shake the hook where I'm just like, what the heck am I doing wrong? Is it my hooks? Is it what? Is it? I keep thinking about it, but it's really just technique is what it really boils down to.
And
maybe hooks.
A lot of times it's equipment too. Like people using the wrong rod a lot of times. Like chatterbaits, we talk about chatterbaits all the time. Like I like a flimsy rod. versus Daryl wants to use a broomstick and 65-pound braid.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys have questions, you might be losing a lot of fish. We got a lot of really good anglers in here that can give you some tips, tricks, and techniques that can kind of really, maximize. But it happens to the best of us too, right? If you watch Chris Mitchell's videos, how many fish, did he pull out with that speed worm, right? I mean, you set the hook and then like 2-3 seconds into it, 4 or 5, whatever it is, it spits back at you, right? It's because of the hook set, not multiple factors, right? But you need to figure out what that is so that you can maximize your hook sets and your catching across the board. At the end of the day, that's what's going to win you some money, is being able to put those fish in the boat, because that could have been the difference between third and first there, pretty easily.
Along those lines, Mitchell, speaking of losing fish, when you start getting spun out, how do you turn it around?
Deep breaths.
Deep breaths.
Yeah.
I know we all do. We all react different ways. I've seen Mitchell, and I've seen Bailey get frustrated. I've been.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a GoPro on my boat.
Yeah, we all deal with it in certain ways, but like sometimes, I mean, I think you, after you got stuck in the sticks a couple times with the devil's horse, and then you lose a couple, just catching that next fish kind of gets you unspun. You know?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it just kind of sets your mind back into being back on focus on what you need to do. Just, you can't let all the little things pile up in your brain and spin you out. But I mean, it happens. It was starting to on me until I caught a fish. But
well, I think going back to your comfort zone too, because I think you picked up a speed worm. And going back to that bait you're super confident with.
Yeah,
gets you that bite. So
I was having troubles with trying to keep that devil's horse out of the sticks, and it was tangling up a lot too. That I didn't show in the video, but it just kept getting messed up. So I was like, I gotta put this down. I just can't deal with it anymore.
Question about that. Why was you throwing the devil horse on a spinning reel versus a bait caster?
It's really light. I mean,
it looks like a big bait, so you would think it would be heavier. That's why I was curious.
Nah, that thing is like, it's just I don't know what kind of wood it is.
It works better on a spinning reel than a bait caster. I mean, I tried throwing mine on mine as well, on my the BFS reel that I had, but the spinning reel for me too it works out really well on that.
I've never threw one, so I wasn't sure, but I saw that and I was just really curious why you were using this spinning reel versus a bait caster.
Yeah, I think it's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll bring it this Saturday, so you'll know how light it is.
Hey, bring the check as well for Todd. We forgot to do it.
We talked about that.
All right. Well, Mitchell, man, we really appreciate you coming on, spending the time. I know we wanted to get you guys on a little bit sooner, but things have happened, and you guys run a lot of other podcasts and shows of that nature. So we wanted to kind of bring all you guys in. We got quite a few folks here in the background waiting, and I know they're probably patiently waiting to hop on here, and I don't want to keep them waiting too long. But Mitchell, man, awesome job. He was your top 3. He was the 3rd place finisher on the Bassmaster Kissimmee event. He is going to the Bassmaster Classic in March, right? The second week of March in Texas.
Next week I'll be leaving.
Yep. Okay, yep. So he's going to be heading out to Texas to compete there, which is going to be an awesome experience. Please, please, please take plenty of pictures, take some videos. We'd probably, and anyone else that's going out and competing at that Bassmaster Classic, we're going to have all of you guys back on at some point later on, and we want to hear all about your experiences there and kind of how that unfolded.
And two, if you're going to the Bassmaster Classic, if you would stop by the Lou's Strike King booth and just tell them you're with FKBT and just thank them for what they've done for our club. You'll see them. They'll have several big pop-up tents, flags. Yeah. We've done a lot of stuff for them. So, just let Mike Coombs know. He's one that really supports our club, and we greatly appreciate them.
And if you guys do that and swing by their booths, snap a selfie with them. Go by and take a picture with them. We'll do something nice for you guys when you get back. But you send us those photos, and we'll post them on our social media, and then we'll give back to you guys by doing that. But it's really they've done tremendous things for us here in the kayaking Florida Kayak Bass Trail. And we want to be able to give back to them, and you guys winning on those stages, since your affiliate highlights that, and Mike Kuntz and all those guys are following what our club is doing, and the anglers that participate in our club. what they're doing to promote Lose and Strike King. So again, Mitchell, we truly appreciate that. Best of luck as you head to Texas. Everyone, give him a
Thanks.
round of applause. Best of luck, man. I know we're going to be talking. We're excited to see what you do out there, and hopefully you bring home another blue trophy to the state of Florida. So best of luck there, brother. We're going to bring on Miss Amy Brown next. All right, so we're going to move you to the back of the stage. I don't know how to do that, and then we're going to bring. There she is. How you doing, Amy? Sorry for the long wait. We had
No, it's okay.
in the background, but
No worries.
thank you for hopping on. I know you competed both in the Bassmaster and the Ocalapalooza, but we'll talk a little bit of Bassmaster, and then I'm going to bring all of Ocalapalooza back on, everyone who competed, and we're just going to talk about what an experience that was. So, Amy, again, kind of you just saw what we did with Mitchell. We're going to kind of run through and do a similar thing with you as well. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and what got you into kayak bass fishing.
Okay. I grew up in Central Florida, and when I was a kid, I didn't do a lot of freshwater fishing. My family had a boat, and they lived in Sanford, right near the Lake Monroe, St. Johns River. We were on the river a lot, but we didn't really do anything but crappie fishing. And I did most of my fishing on saltwater with my grandparents when I was a kid. We'd always go stay over at the Banana River in Brevard and do saltwater and dragging nets and all that stuff that you did back in that day. And then I hadn't fished in years, and during COVID, I was bored to death. And I live in a little small town that has 3 lakes, so I went on Amazon one day and bought a Zebco fishing rod and started hitting the lakes out here, and got addicted to it really quick, and got tired of dealing with weirdos on the bank and wanted a kayak. So I finally saved up money and got my kayak, and about that same time is when Wendy and I crossed paths, and we ended up doing the first tournament for FKBT together, and that was the first time we ever met. Was at that first tournament for FKBT.
That was the Stick Marsh and Headwaters event, right? And if I recall, you did really well. I think you caught like a couple.
I did.
Really well.
I was completely shocked. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But and I just, like everyone else, I'm basically work and fish. So, but lately I haven't been able to fish as much. I've had a lot going on, but
yeah,
had a lot of tournaments too. So
yeah, are you doing boat stuff too? From what I think
I was going to do the LBAA as a co-angler this year. I had actually signed up for all the events, but then it ended up crossing on a lot of other things that I wanted to do with kayaks, so I ended up pulling out of it.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's I know you are with the Women's Fishing Federation too, right? That's one of the big organizations that you work with or that you're a part of there, which is really cool. I mean, I met what her name is. She's with
Amanda Brannon.
Amanda Brannon. Yeah, I met her with KB whenever she was judging fish with KBF. We had met and talked, and she had mentioned what the Women's Fishing Federation's about and what she's been doing. But you guys, like, we had Wendy on, and she had talked about how much traveling that you guys get to do. And Ocalapalooza, they actually sponsor with the Kayak Adventure Series the top female angler there for that trail as well, which is really cool and highlighting that. So yeah, that's really unique and pretty cool that you guys are, pretty new into kayak fishing, but yet you have a pretty big footprint on what you're doing for the sport, which I think is just phenomenal. Trying to just, spread that across all platforms is amazing. So
it's been really pretty neat seeing how much it's grown with women just in the little amount of time that I've been in it. It's really gotten more and more popular, and it's kind of fun. Yeah, especially at Bassmaster. I think we had 16 women in the Bassmaster event, which is the most I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So with the Bassmaster event, you're talking about the Kissimmee event with having 16 female anglers, right? So how was this your first like national level event on Kissimmee with the Bassmaster?
It was the first Bassmaster one. I had done 2 Hobies.
Okay, so bass, this being, I'm not sure, I forgot how many. I think there was over 200 anglers, right? I think it was like
I don't remember. It was like 223 or something like that.
223 anglers that you're competing in. Kind of, what was your mindset? Nervous? Like, what was your game plan? Did you have a game plan?
I don't think I was really nervous. I always set goals for myself. Usually it's first, don't skunk. Second, try to catch a limit, and always try to have fun. But I went out 3 days the week before and tried to pre-fish, and 2 of those 3 days I never got a bite. So I went to 3 different lakes, and then the third lake I finally found fish and just stopped fishing and left and decided that was where I was going to go. Is Wendy and I both went to the same place,
Yeah.
and Saturday I immediately found fish. I got bit on my first cast. I caught a fish on my second cast, and I had fish all day. I just could not hook fish on that day. I just had a day like that. I don't know why. And
Yeah.
I think I lost about 15 fish that day.
Oh,
And I was kind of frustrated that day, but at the same time, I was like, that's what it is.
yeah.
So,
It's
but
fishing.
then the next day we went to the same lake again, and I actually went to a different side of the lake though, and I found a completely different pattern about midway through the day, and it was way better for me than on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, it's a good experience. I mean, you're able to break down some water, eliminate some things that were working, not working, make some changes, and then ultimately, chalk it up as it's still an experience, right? We still are. You're
yeah,
still
I was happy with it. I learned a lot of things that weekend. In all reality, with a lot of different things, just setups, moving, all different things that I wish I had done, that I learned I should have done.
yeah,
But my goal was to try to make the top 100. I think I was around 116 or something like that. So
yeah,
I was fairly happy with that. I mean, this is only my second year doing this, so I think
yeah.
I'm happy with that. That's a lot
Well,
of big names in there.
yeah. I mean, you look at it. I mean,
So,
I mean, it's stacked. I mean, people they do this for you got some really good anglers, but I mean that were there that travel all over the country, fishing these events. So I think anytime you can get somewhere middle of the pack is always a pretty good outing for
yeah.
that. It's probably not the outcome you wanted, but at the end of the day, too, you're still able to put something together. There's a lot of people that didn't even submit fish out there.
Yeah,
So
it was
it wasn't.
definitely tough.
Yeah,
It was
it
definitely
was
tough.
it was tough, but I think
But
I think a lot of people were kind of in like from what I didn't fish it, but from what I had seen on videos from people, it seemed like there was a lot of people kind of in certain areas where the fish were biting. So and then there were some people that weren't fishing. You probably didn't see. Am I even in a kayak tournament? There was nobody around you. So
yeah, I think one of the pre-fish days I ran into Mitchell,
yeah.
and I think both of us had agreed that day that we weren't going to that lake. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I
yeah.
mean, you had an experience, and then we'll talk a little bit about Ocalapalooza since you are on here, and that's a bright side to an event. Hopefully, hopefully you had a little bit of fun there. It's a totally different format. I kind of we can talk about that, and then we'll move on to Seth, Blake, and Daryl, and talk a little bit about them since we were all there. But for Ocalapalooza, like, what was your thoughts on that? The format, the whole 9 yards. What'd you think about it?
I thought the format was fun. I think the hardest thing was I couldn't really take off work, and I was driving back and forth so much I was exhausted.
Yeah,
But the the format was fun. I liked doing the late day thing. And then I think the hard thing was having so many places to choose from
yeah,
and trying to figure out what to do. So I tried to go with my comfort of Orange Lake, and I did not do good there at all. And
yeah,
then I'd only been to Rodman one other time when I decided to go there because I knew the other guys were going to go there, and I don't like to be where I'm alone. I always
yeah,
like to know I have someone else around when I go to fish for
yeah,
safety. And I didn't do great there in the middle or the beginning of the day, but I just found one lucky patch toward the middle of the day because I had already told Wendy if I'm not catching anything by noon, I'm going home.
yeah.
And then I started finding fish. But yeah, I thought excuse me,
No, you're
I got
fine.
sick of that Alcalapalooza. Um, I I had a really good day on Sunday or Saturday, and I wasn't even gonna go. I had some family thing happen on Friday, and actually Blake was the one that, believe it or not, kind of he said something to me that made me go, and he said you only need 5 fish, and
Yeah,
I already had one, so I was like, he's not wrong.
yeah,
So I finally decided, I'm just going to get up and go. And if I have to leave, I'll leave because I had some family stuff going on. But it's
Well,
fun. I was glad I went. And honestly, I thought that Wendy had the highest female. I was actually calling her saying, why are you not going to awards? Because
yeah.
you're going to get the highest female. And then somebody else was like, no, I think it's you. And I'm like, really? And then I was like, okay, well, I'll go check it out.
Yeah. So, how did you like the after party? Like what did you think about that? That whole
The
concept.
awards
Yeah, the awards
and all the
leading up
stuff
to the
after.
awards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun to go and hang out and check out some of the stuff and see all the different sponsors and
Yeah.
what they had to offer.
Yeah, cross kicks was it's different, right? I mean, I went to the Bassmaster Award ceremony to congratulate Seth and to take and Mitchell or not Seth, Sherman and sorry Seth, Sherman and Mitchell, and that had 200 and something anglers there competing. And when I went there, I was expecting to see like hundreds of like over 100 people there at the award ceremony, and there was maybe 30, 40 people, 40, 50 maybe. And to me, I'm like, man, that kind of I get it. People have to travel and do all of that, and if they didn't win or they weren't in the money, they're not going to go there. If they're not getting a check, I get that. But the way the Kayak Adventure Series is set up is to really just is like a festival and to have fun. I thought that was unique. But even then, right, there was like 68 people that showed up, and I think we had probably around 40 to 50 people there at that awards fair. So that to me was a bigger turnout, and like, yeah, there wasn't a ton of people. There wasn't 200 something people fishing the event. And I guess it's just from the timing and the Bassmasters and all that stuff that kind of took place but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. And hopefully, they come back to Florida and we're able to do something a little bit again with them next year, because I think it was a fun experience getting to, the food trucks, the vendors, the Toyota, the trucks, the kayaks, all of that there was pretty cool and unique. So I'm glad you had some fun. Hopefully you were able to. Okay, I'm not sure you finished what was your place in Ocalapalooza? Individual?
I think it was
Like
27th maybe.
Yeah. That's still really good, because there were some hammers there that were competing in this series as well. So anytime you can finish in the top there, the top 25% of the field is really, really good. I just strive to catch at least one fish. You said catch a limit. My goal is to catch one, and I'm not lying. You can Todd and Sean that my goal is, whenever they ask us, I show up and I'm like,
I always start with a wanting to catch one.
Yep.
That's always my goal. Don't skunk.
Yep.
But,
that's it. I don't care if I catch 5 or 20. I just want one, and then I won't be an emotional wreck. But I truly do want to. I appreciate everything that you've done for our club as well, in regards to just highlighting kayak fishing and reaching a totally different crowd and than which we can. Because like you said, Amy, Wendy, what you guys have said, like feeling safe on the water, right? Having a kayak and being a female in this type of sport can be uneasy at some points, right? Because you're going out to these bodies of waters at early and late times of the day and evening, that can be somewhat of a safety cost some.
Yeah, it's more the onshore I worry about than the water.
Yeah, right. So, and being at the boat ramps and things. So I'm glad that you guys feel safe and secure enough with us. And if you guys ever need anything, I know there's a ton of folks out here that would be more than willing to get off the water and help in any shape, form, or fashion. So, we truly do appreciate
a lot of people think that we just want to always go fish at the same place all the time, but there's a lot of times where we don't agree on where to fish at all.
Yeah.
But we do it because of the safety stuff, so we know we've got someone else there with us.
Well,
a lot of time when we're on the same body of water, we're not even near one another.
Yeah. No,
we just know we have that person there.
Well, I hope that you can reach out to us and maybe if you want to go to another body of water, just reach out to some of these anglers here and say, hey, I'm not trying to, obviously not trying to steal your spot. So I just
it's hard because everyone thinks you're trying to find the honey hole.
No. But if you want to, I know there's a lot of folks out here that will definitely go about their way to make sure that you're safe. And if you want to try something, just the easiest thing to do is like you've been doing. You've reached out to quite a few of us in the past, and hopefully we felt like you felt the way that you're like, hey, it's water, right? Come out and fish, and as long as you guys are feeling safe and so on and so forth, that's what it's all about. So we do appreciate you, Amy, for coming on, and again, thank you for participating in that Kayak Adventure Series event and having fun in that Bassmaster event too. Just stay consistent, doing what you're doing. At some point, it's all going to click again, like it has in the past, and you guys are going to be up there holding the big old check or the blue trophy at some point, I'm sure. So, but again, Amy, I appreciate it. We'll pull you to the backstage again. Give
Good
her
work.
a round of applause.
Good work.
Good look.
Thank you.
Very, very, very good job, and we look forward to seeing you. Are you going to Pan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we look forward to good luck out there. Go watch
that's my arch nemesis lake. Every single time I've ever been there, I got stung by a wasp on my tongue that was in my cup, and I'm allergic to bees. I got my power pole got stuck down at one of the tournaments when we were having like 5-foot rollers. My someone hit my car. I don't know. Every time I've ever been that lake, something's happened. So I'm always terrified to go there, but we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed. Right now is a really good time to go up there and fish. So fingers crossed this time nothing crazy happens. But if it does, reach out to one of us. We'll make sure we get you taken care of. All right.
See you guys this weekend.
Yep. Thank you. We'll see you this weekend, Amy. We'll go ahead and move you to the back, and we're going to bring on Seth and Blake Abbey. We're going to bring both of those folks onto the stage here.
You want to get them on? I got them.
Yep. I'm trying to remove Amy. Oh, there she goes.
I got it. I took care of it.
Hey.
I wouldn't take any advice from Bailey or Todd about Pan. Because they're like, oh, it's muddy, it's chocolate milk, and we get out there, it's crystal clear water.
Well, that's because we went all the way up to Alabama.
Yeah.
Mobile, Alabama. You go all the way to the north end, it's going to be crystal clear.
Can't be trusted. Go Mountaineers, Seth. Welcome to the show.
Let's go Mountaineers.
Hey guys, sorry for bringing you guys on an hour after you guys have been there. I know, Seth, you got families, and Blake, you both got kids, and both of y'all do. So very sorry for that. We should have planned that a little differently and had you two on first, and then Mitchell. And sorry about that. That's our bad. But
Mitchell's falling asleep, so glad we were able to get him on before he.
Yeah, it's past his bedtime. But again, I see Blake's over there doing some rigging or something. But did you buy that at the Kayak Adventure Series?
I just got it in the mail today.
From that guy?
From the guy. I hit him up. I said, dude, I've been dreaming about that thing, and I'm sure I'm going to lose it on my first cast, but I got it.
Hey, we bought one of those for Harrelson for Big Bass. Since he didn't take the money, we bought one of those for him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just got it in the mail today. The guy posted on his Instagram story that he said he was going to honor the Ocalapalooza pricing, and I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't know if Harrelson's thrown it yet, but yeah, they were at the Kayak Adventure. What was the name of that? It had like a green
swamp. It's swamp baits or something.
Yeah,
something swamp.
I have their card somewhere.
Swamp water swim baits.
Yeah.
Swamp
we bought one of those for Harrelson, and I'm looking forward to him for throwing it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So again, Blake, Seth, you guys kind of sat in and saw what we had just done with Chris Mitchell, and then we're going to kind of knock out two birds with one stone with Ocalapalooza and Bassmaster too. With you guys, we'll do the team thing afterwards, but we'll talk Bassmaster. We'll start with Seth. We'll talk with you, and then we'll bring Blake on here in a minute, and you guys kind of just like introduce yourself a little bit. Y'all are no strangers to the club. I know a majority of everyone knows who you are and what you're about, and probably follow you on Instagram and all your socials, but a little bit about who you are and what got you into kayak fishing, and what do you love most about the Florida Kayak Bass Trail. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but what got you into bass fishing, and what do you love best about the FKBT? So Seth, you're muted.
That's a good start. There we go. You got to start with your mic on, right? No, I've fished my whole life since I was little. I grew up in the Northeast, trout fishing. Grew up on the Susquehanna River. Actually, Blake and I were just talking about that this evening. And so I've bass fished my entire life. Went into oil and gas right out of college, out of West Virginia University. Go Mountaineers, Sean. And I traveled for probably 10 years across the country and made pretty good money, was able to get a bass boat and competitive fish throughout the country, whether it was like local trails in Texas, Ohio, wherever we were at. So I got to fish a variety of fisheries throughout the country, wherever I was working. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we moved here, which is right outside Sarasota, called Parrish. And to help build this house, and for the down payment, I sold my bass boat, which was a Bass Cat with the 250, and it was beautiful at the time. So I sold that to help build the house that my wife and I and kids have here, and really just couldn't give up bass fishing. So the next thing was kayaks, and I grew up in kayaks too, like smallmouth fishing on the Susquehanna, but they were mostly like throw kayaks that we had back in the day. And yeah, so that's what got me into it. I started with the what was it, Kayak Anglers of Florida? Is that what it used to be?
Yep.
Fished that for a season, and then kind of transitioned to FKBT. And what I like most about FKBT is that not only is it for folks that are just getting started, and there's an avenue there, but we have a lot of like hammers, like good quality fishermen, which I think has shown in the last few national events that came through Florida with Sherman, Chris, Mitchell, yourself, Bailey, Harrelson,
yourself, you.
Yeah. So it's cool. Like we're fishing against really good anglers, and it's not just, beginners, in this club. So yeah, and I think it prepares you for the next level too, like the national level.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. And I think if you are watching this and you may be trying to get your feet wet in the kayak bass fishing, like competitive side, we're a fantastic place to really do that. Even the Florida Bass Nation is also a fantastic place. I mean, any you got those, you got us, you got Slay Nation, all of those little clubs are all great places. Just if you have any questions, we're here for it. But no, that's awesome.
Yeah. Then to move in, I'll try to go quick because I know Blake probably has something to say over there.
Yeah.
So
he's yawning right now. So
yeah. As far as Bassmaster goes, I think I ended up 90th, and that was with 9 fish because I had a DQ fish that I caught twice and didn't know. And really, my game plan, it was a risky game plan. I knew that going in, but I wanted to place top 10 in the event, so I wasn't just going to go and like put a limit together. I had 3 fish on beds that were all close to each other that were 6 to 8 pounds. And I knew they were locked in, and I knew if I went and caught those, I'd have anywhere from like 66 to 70 inches with 3 fish. They were all giants. And I went in there on day 1, and I knew if I had 70 inches with 3 fish, I could just get 2 average fish, have around 100 inches. We're rolling into day 2, top 10. So that was a game plan. It was a warming trend. The fish were moving up, so I was hoping there was going to be some other big ones moving nearby. So I went in there, and first cast, I cast backwards because they were schooling. I caught like a 14 or 15 incher. And then I cast at the bed, and I hook, which was my second biggest fish, like a 7-pounder. I hooked her right away, and I'm reeling her in. She jumps and gets off. And I wasn't too upset about it because I knew it was a 2-day event. I could come back. She never came back. She never came back to the bed, which was really strange. So I'm re-rigging to go to the 8-pounder, which was like 100 feet off. And across the bay, another guy pulled into my other bed, and he caught like the 6-pounder while I'm getting ready to fish for the 8-pounder. So after he caught that one and I missed the first one, 2 out of my 3 fish are gone. So I go and I ended up catching the 8-pounder, which was like 23 3/4 or something, which was nice. And then I just bed fished and kind of put a small bag together. But while I was bed fishing, there was just giant females wanting to move up into these beds with the small males in this little bay. And I knew it was just a matter of time till they would move in. So on day 2, it was either go fish new water where like I could put a solid limit together, or go back in this little bay and hopefully these bigger ones moved up. So I'm like, it's a risk, whatever. I went back in there, and unfortunately they were still there swimming around. I just couldn't get them to bite. And there was probably 15 to 20 that were like over 5 pounds. I mean, I'm telling you, they were everywhere. They would chase big glide baits like the baby balls. This exact one is what I caught the 8.5 one. They would chase it, but they wouldn't commit. So that was kind of my Bassmaster event. It was a risk going in there on day one with 3 big fish because I knew if I didn't get them, it would put me behind because I was not close to anything else where those were. And then I had a fish I caught day one that I measured on day 2 and didn't realize it. So that one got DQ'd. So it left me with 9 out of 10 fish for like 90th. So it's whatever.
Oh.
It's whatever. That was my Bassmaster event.
Wow. But I mean, hey, that's pretty crazy. I think you put that fish up pretty early on in the tournament too, right? I think you were like leading for the while.
Right after I missed the other big one right before it. So
that would have been crazy to put both of those on the board within the first like 2 hours of the event on day one.
The goal was to have 3 right there, but ended up with 1. So that put me behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my Bassmaster, man. Then we went into a Calapalooza, but I'll turn it over to Blake. Let him talk a little bit about himself. And Bassmaster.
Who's that right there, Blake?
This is my daughter, Wave. Say hi.
Hi.
Good to see you. Thank you for letting your dad come on the show.
I can fly.
Yeah, Blake. So again, just kind of the same thing Seth just did, and then we'll talk bass, and then we'll do Ocalapalooza all at once.
Yeah, I got into fishing young with my grandpa. He lived on Mott Avenue over in Lockhart. He lived on a little lake, and we would catch bluegill and then hook them up and throw them at the bass. So my first experience with catching big bass was watching them eat bluegill. And then, Bob Bosdorf is a mentor of mine. He lives in Apopka, Florida, and he started taking me out on his boat. And we would fish Toho and Okeechobee and Kissimmee. And he would be pre-fishing for the Redman Trail, which I think turned into the FLW tour or something of that nature. But so I was on a boat with a guy who was very, very awesome and experienced. And he was, he fished hard all day. So like we didn't talk, we weren't like chummy, we weren't like chopping it up. This dude was like nose down, hammer, like pounding the fish. Like he's a hardcore fisherman and he says 10 words all day, but he just rips them. And I'm like, man, like it wasn't. So I think my work ethic was developed at a young age. I mean, if I really were to draw it back, I was like, this dude's out here. He told me, he's like, every single tournament I'm in, when I leave the boat ramp, I'm going to. He's like, I'm signing up and exiting the boat ramp with the intentions of winning the tournament. And I'm like, yeah, but do you want to have fun? He's like, cashing checks is fun. So I think I might be like a little bit too competitive, but if there is such a thing, but I had fun. I went fishing the past 2 days. I had a great time, but I wasn't in a tournament. So
yeah.
I create separation. When I go fun fish, I'll fish with anybody in this club any day of the week. But if we're in a tournament, I mean, slightly different. I mean, it's only $60, but I mean, we all want to win. And when people say, oh, I don't care if I win or not, I just want to catch one fish. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm not against that, but that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, hey, and everyone has their own, and that's everyone's, like, they have their own, like, kind of what they want out of it, right? And that, I think that's the good side. You have those very competitive anglers who sign up with the intentions to win. And then you have some that are like, hey, I'm just happy if I'm not just out on the water having fun and I'm not at home, right? Or I'm away from work, which is good. And yeah.
To finish that thought, when I went to Ocalapalooza Awards, the highlight of my entire experience was seeing Chris Bailey. I looked at him and I was like, watching you win, and accomplish that on your way out filled my cup, emotionally.
Yeah.
Even though because I was just in you were there when I walked in and saw Chris Mitchell at Bassmaster. I was like, my boy, and I see Sherman. I think Sherman thinks I'm a weirdo, but that's fine. That's fine.
No, that's the bright side. That's what's so great about our club as well, right? Because we're each person's hype person. You know what I mean? Like you called me and we spoke a couple of times. You're like, hey man, I have a feeling you're gonna win this, right? And I was like, nah, there ain't no way. I'm just gonna go out there to have fun. And I can tell, like, even with Harrelson, whenever he won it, you're like, is this your top 3 like events in your life or whatever accomplishments? And Harrelson's just kind of like, chilling. He's like, yeah, it is what it is. And we're going to bring him on here in a minute. He's hopped in the background here. So he is on here. We'll bring him in here in a minute. But like you have been a lot of people's, from what I've heard and seen, like hyping them up and supporting them, which I think is super cool with Christopher Lindsay with those photos. Chris Mitchell, you do those photos, like all of those sorts of things. When you're out on the water and you're doing those things, like you're making it better for those folks that are around you too. So just as much as you appreciate what we're doing and you're happy for us, like it doesn't go unnoticed on our behalf either on what you're doing from that level as well. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that I look up to, he always says, clap for others and wait your turn. And that's just been kind of my mantra. And even being on a team with Seth, Seth pulled me onto Panasofsky for Ocalapalooza. And he's like, bro,
Hey,
I'm
hey,
on.
easy, Blake. We got an event there, like in 2 days. You gave him the juice. I'm just kidding.
He's like,
you got videos out there, Seth.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I know. Like I'm giving away the juice. Dude's got YouTube videos. But anyways,
totally
he's
kidding.
like, he's texting me. He's like, bro, I'm on him. I'm like how much on him?
Because I'm not. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, send me some pics. Give me some numbers. Because me and Seth had gone to Ocala. We went to Half Moon Lake and we caught a bunch of fish on Half Moon. He's like, dude, I'm sitting on a school of like 30 fish. And I'm like, dude, I caught like 12 fish in 30 minutes out there. So we had numbers at Half Moon. I went to Orange and pre-fished. I had numbers there, but it was a lot of work for me out there. And we just had fished Rodman a couple weeks before. So me and him eliminated a lot together. And even though we were on a team, we never made one cast within 200 yards of each other the entire tournament. So we were on a team, but it was like the perfect team for me because I knew where he was fishing. And I'm like, bro, you're not going to see me there. He knew where I was fishing. We didn't cross paths. We both caught limits the first day. We were like he was in 90. I think I had like mid 80s. So even in that short window of the first day, we both felt good. And I was like, dude, I don't have any more here. I was like, I'm going to go to another lake. So I went to Rodman just to cull a couple. And I did exactly what I went there to do. It was very difficult, but I culled my 215s. It put me over 90, I think. And it worked, and I still had like a small bag for the FKBT, which was important to me. And I appreciate you opening up the time span to get those uploaded because I had to get off the lake early, even though there was an hour window. For whatever reason, T-Mobile and Rodman are not friends at all.
Yeah, I don't think phone service in general at Rodman. That's probably going to be we just got a lot of people saying, hey, I want to go back to Rodman, but that lake alone, and even Pan too, those two lakes are very, very difficult with phone service. So that's why we extended a little bit on those two bodies.
I think maybe just having the submissions go to the awards at 4:30 and then allowing pinch tails for the whole season. And you guys are golden.
I like that. Hey, just be patient for next year. There might be some changes in regards to what we're going to allow. We're definitely been talking about that. We did it for that one event. And I'm not going to lie to you. It helps, in my opinion.
For me, I'm advocating it because I like it, but it helps me get the maximum length the fastest and get the fish back in the water. I was against it. Yeah, no, and another big point there that y'all brought up, what it also allows is when you pinch it, you can push up, you can push towards and bend, and that keeps the fish pinned to the board. It doesn't give them an opportunity to really flop off. It kind of helps them stay. It's quicker. It's more efficient. So obviously you might get an extra quarter inch, but the efficiency factor, plus my hand is all the way down there, so you get more of a scale pattern.
Yeah.
Instead of bear claw hands on top of a 14-inch fish, you got nothing on that.
No,
and these sausage fingers, you have nothing.
No, hey, I'm not. You can ask Sean and Todd. I'm 100% in agreement with you when it comes to pinching the tail.
Hey, don't let them backpedal.
No,
well, I don't want to be the catalyst to. I mean,
no. We've already.
That's not a make it or break it deal. That's not a make it or break it deal for me. Because I love how thorough this club is. What I like about FKBT the most. Two things. It puts me on water that I never fish because I'm lazy. I fished in my backyard the past 2 days, and I was like, I miss this. But anyways, that's what I like, one. And two, I like how thorough everybody is with communication rules, everything. Like, this is by far, I've done Hobie, I've done Bassmaster, I did Ocalapalooza, I've traveled out of the state, I've traveled out of the country and done tournaments, literally. And this FKBT is the most to the T with everything that you guys decide and do and hold to it. So it's like sometimes selfish me. I'm like, God, this is annoying. Like Todd was ragging on my flag at the stick marsh because it was tangled up. And I'm like, dude, this guy's tripping. And I was like,
I
but
didn't want you to roll over by an airboat or a duck boat, man.
at the end of the day, I went to him and I said, hey, dude, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't catch it. I didn't have any fish. When he's like, hey, Blake, your flag is invisible. I'm like, well, how can you see it?
Yeah, hey, Todd, what are you doing? Hey,
Todd's the stickler on the water.
Todd
right
is
now.
hey, that's why he does safety, because Todd
Right.
Todd is No, that's good. No, hey, we appreciate that though, because that's one thing that it's hard for us as tournament directors to like. It's not hard to hold people accountable. Being in the military, the Army, the Air Force, and it's very easy job for us to hold people accountable. But it's holding people accountable across the board. We're friends with all of you guys. And the minute that I'm lenient towards any side, that you lose credibility, right? And people are going to be like, "Oh, that's shady." And at no point do we want any angler to feel like there's anything happening behind the scenes. Everything that we do, like you said, is publicized to an extent, right? If we're disqualifying someone, that's going to be between us, and if they want to share it, they're more than welcome to share why they've been disqualified, which has happened a lot this year. Unfortunately, we don't like doing that. But that's why we go through and do those virtual board checks and all of those things, just because you guys put a lot of time, money, and away from your family to participate in these events. The last thing we want is for y'all to show up and then silly things get you disqualified, and then you just wasted your whole day, wasted time away from your kids, wasted your weekend. Now you're in a bad mood. Are you going to want to compete and spend another $60 next month if that just happened to you, right? So that's why we really try to put out that product that, to eliminate those things ahead of time so that you can go into a tournament relaxed and know that you're ready to, you can just go out and have fun. So I'm glad that that's kind of, it's taken 3 years, and it's going to continue to get better. There's some things that we can do better, which we'd like to highlight, but we appreciate that too.
We all want to see 100 people at every event. I watched the Tennessee Bass Nation. They got like
118.
118,
yeah.
And I fished John's Lake last weekend, and there was this older gentleman at the launch, and we were locked out of a gate for the first hour. So we're all pacing around the car, and I was talking to him. He's in a little $100 kayak, and he was like poking around, asking questions, and I was like, dude, join. I sent him the info. I got his number. I texted him. I told him, the format and all this. I sent him the thing. I said, dude, there's 2 clubs that I'm in, and I was like, this is the best one. I was like, FKBT it's the best one. I think everybody knows that. I mean, when I say best, it's not like I'm comparing, but you get the most participation. So for me, it's the best because I want to be in competition with lots of people. There's bigger payouts. There's, I surround yourself with winners, like to be the best, you got to beat the best. When you go win a tournament with 9 people, you get a gold star, but it's small.
No,
it's a small star.
Yeah, and having having 100 people sign up for a tournament is almost impossible in the state of Florida. We're trying, right? I don't think it's impossible, but we have it's very saturated, right? And a lot of our anglers also compete in those other clubs as well.
That's a scarcity mindset, though, that I disagree with. I think that more people like us, like Amy's like, oh, COVID hit and I got into, I think more people, dude, there's people out there kayak fishing that have been doing it for 10 years that don't even know this exists.
Yeah. And that's something we're going to do on the off season. Even now, we're trying to figure out how to market and getting our name out there because we are just a lot of your guys' social medias and things that y'all are posting out there have helped drastically because we get a lot of messages that we communicate with, but it's the signing up, and they'll sign up, but they'll participate in one and not do good and never sign up again. Right.
Well, we have 75 members. If 50 members brought in one person, that's all it takes.
Yep. Absolutely.
If people brought one person into the club next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 75 and
one.
we're at 75 members and we're averaging 30 to almost 47 anglers. An event is like anywhere between 35 to 47. I think 49 is our highest event, or 51 is actually our highest this year. We finally were able to break in 3 years over 50 anglers for an event. And we actually have lower members this year than we've had in the previous years. And we're having more people actually turn out to actually compete. which is weird, right? And the reason is a lot of them have switched over to fishing the bass too, I think, and kind of spread out amongst the clubs. But we're going to do a better job. We're gonna definitely, and it's a good point that you brought up. Like, we need you guys to be, y'all are the best advertisement that we can ever ask for. We don't get sponsorship money for advertisement. We don't make money to do anything. It's all really word of mouth in our social media pages and your guys' social media pages, your your reels and things that really have helped our club tremendously. So again, thank you guys for sharing our stuff on your social media pages to make it, what it is today. Because without us, I don't have a social media page other than the club. I don't do YouTube, right? Not yet. Me and Sean, we don't do none of us up here in the club, like director side of it, do YouTube. It's all you guys. That might have to change a little bit, just so that we can kind of do that. But y'all have it. Y'all have the following, right? So we appreciate that about that. We appreciate you guys for that, Blake, for sure. So but yeah, Ocala, let's talk about Bassmaster for you. We talked a little bit about that, but what about a Bass?
Very quick. I launched on Hatchinia day one. I went straight to my spot. There was a bass boat on the outside of where I wanted to fish, way off. I went inside, and as I was going in, he said, "Get the F out of my way, or I'm going to run you over with my boat." So before lines in, I had a boater threatening my life. Then two other kayakers came behind him and encouraged the boater to take photos of me because I was impeding the entrance to this canal. And I'm like, guys, I'm running footage. I'm like, I'm not impeding it. It was literally as wide as my kayak. I'm like, I'm not going to let you run me over to get out of your way. So it was a nightmare. So I went up there. I caught a limit in like maybe an hour, and I bounced. I got off the lake. It's the first time in my life ever, any national event, that I've ever jumped lakes. So I knew, I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, I'm just not centered. I mean, I found the dream spot in practice. I was crying. I was like talking to birds and shit. I was like, this is the shit. Yeah, like for real. I was like, I called my wife. I'm like, I'm going to win. But each day it got worse and worse. They started moving out. They were just all in there. It was ridiculous. But the boater that had come in when I exited, he's like, I won a tournament up here last weekend. I'm like, cool. Can I get one?
Can you share the wealth, brother?
But I was talking to Seth about that. I was like, Chris Mitchell did it. I'm like, anytime you find something, guys, in this club, or if there's anybody left on, and you're like, I found a spot, so did someone else. Yeah. Like, it's God's water. Nobody owns any spots. Like, if we go to Panisovsky and somebody comes and fishes around Seth, I'm gonna go over there and be like, get out of his spot. No, I'm not gonna do nothing, because it's like, nobody has spots, and with YouTube and with the power of the internet, like, people are gonna go to Lake Fork and probably be fishing on top of each other. Dude, I just watched the Bassmaster Elite where three boats were like holding hands.
Literally, and because on Okeechobee, yeah, they were
Okeechobee.
Yeah,
the biggest lake in the state. Like, there's
they were in like a 60-yard wide canal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I wasn't upset that people were there. I was upset that my integrity was challenged by two kayakers in the tournament. It broke my heart. I was like, guys, they were telling the boater to photograph me to get me DQ'd from the tournament. Wow. And I was like, so I was just rattled. I was super rattled.
Do you want to
I got off the water. No, because I'm a golden rule kind of guy. But if I see him in real life, I'm gonna walk up to him and be like, remember me? Because I don't want to do the internet stuff. I walk up to people. I'm that guy. Yeah. I'm gonna walk up to their face and be like, hey, how's it going? Last time I saw you, you were. That's what I'm gonna do. And maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm working on
it. Ready.
He's like, I'm working on this. He's like, I'm working on it.
I'm working on I'm working on not doing that, because
that's good.
I've always been one of those guys that if I'm catching fish and somebody's coming by, hey, come on over here. I'm catching them. Get on here.
Right.
Let's share the wealth. Come on over. Let's break bread.
This was before anybody caught any fish. This was at like 7:25. So wow. And they were trying to steamroll me, and they did. They steamrolled me. There was two guys that came in and they spot locked in front of me while the other one fished in front of him. So I was watching them catch them. I was catching them behind him. I caught over 70 inches behind him, but I had no choice. But anyways, I left the lake. I went to Marion. I had pre-fished there. So that was the other side of the area I wanted to fish on Hatch. There's actually a canal that goes from Hatch to Marion.
Yeah.
So I just went all the way around. I was on Marion for like 10 minutes and caught a 22 and a quarter.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm good. I had over 90 day one. I was like, I'll just come back here. And I had a couple guys. I had a friend from Kentucky that I had pre-fished with, and he was on the water that I wanted to fish on in Marion. And I said, dude, I'm just going to leave this for you. I said, I know the winning bag is here. He ended up finishing in the top 10. It wasn't my time, and I was okay with it. I'm learning how to lose. I'm trying to be comfortable with losing. And that it wasn't my time. It really wasn't. I didn't like Chris Mitchell's like, I missed big fish. I didn't even have shots. I only had a shot at one big fish the entire 2 days. I fished clean. I fished as clean as I could, and it wasn't enough.
And that's all that matters, because those things, it does kind of leave you haunting a little bit, if you're with the fish that you do miss, but you're batting 1,000 up there, and that's all you can.
And watching Sherman win, was epic. I love the guy. I think he's great. I think he's, the opposite of me personality wise. And it was cool. The main thing for me was like, people come to Florida, these big, everybody knows the names. I'm not going to mention any names because I love them all, most of them. But they come here and they fish our water. And I told Seth, I'm like, I was like, you're gonna let somebody come to Florida and win? Dude, there was a dude from Minnesota winning Ocala after day one. I was like, that is not happening under any circumstances.
We weren't letting that happen. I promise.
Dude, I was talking I'm glad that you guys pulled it off, but I was talking to Seth. I'm like, dude, you're going to let some dude from Minnesota come down here? And I'm like, what? I'm like, not today, Satan. I was like, that ain't happening.
Hey, I think the gentleman from there, he's still down in Tampa right now. He might be fishing Lake Panisofsky event for us. We spoke briefly.
Definitely gonna smoke me now.
Yeah. So watch out at the boat. No, he's actually really cool. We spoke quite a bit through Messenger. I didn't know he was still down in Tampa. He messaged me, asked me how to sign up for our event. I'm not sure if he's signing up for that one or if he's going to do Instapogo with Bass Nation with the South Division. But he may sign up to fish the Panisofsky event with us on Saturday. So,
Beth, take it over, bud. You gonna let that happen?
Hey, we'll find out Saturday at 3:30.
Yeah, hey, he's a really cool guy. I'm actually gonna hang out with him a little bit while I'm up here in North Dakota and take part in their trail series up in Minnesota. They got the Minnesota Yakking Club, fishing club, so that's gonna be fun. But Blake, man, you are always I don't know if character. You're a personality that a lot of people look for, right? Like you walk into the room. Huh?
I said don't like. No, I'm sorry. I was just kidding.
No, like you're a personality, right? Some people like it, some people may not. But like when you walk into the room, you're hyping folks up, right? So I like seeing that. I like that part, and I like that about people. With Chris Mitchell, with Sherman, and seeing what you did there, even though you weren't in the running for the Bassmaster, and then for Ocala with me and Harrelson, that whole interaction there before the award ceremony just kind of speaks kind of who you are as a person, right? Wanting to capture those moments was pretty cool.
I just want to say this, and I don't want to talk too much, but I'm aware that like I didn't like my personality for 20 years. Like people were like, oh, when you walk in the room, we don't know which one we're gonna get, and so but you know what? I think that this is my personal opinion. I think that defects that everybody has, insecurities, fears, can become assets. And I think that over time, a little micro adjustments like we do in our fishing, I think over time, I think that the fact that I am overbearing at points can become an asset. And hopefully I just, be an encouraging person. And also the main thing that I want to do is be honest. And then everything else is whatever. If someone's like, I don't like him, dude, he told me the truth about myself. I'm like, that's the kind of friends that I want. I told Seth that. I'm like, dude, if I'm punishing you, tell me. Like before we even met, I'm like, we're gonna be on a team. Like, dude, I'm a lot, just so you know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's like a feeling out period with Blake and I in the beginning when I'm like, yeah, I'm on him. He's like, well, how on him are you? Like, we're trying to, because Blake and I, we're sponsored by the same company. that helps us out. But we've never been able to connect over this past year with the kids and everything. We've been busy. So, I mean, obviously I'm aware of Blake, but Blake and I've never had like a close relationship. Him and I have never really chatted it up. But what was nice about the team event in Ocala was that it like fast tracked everything. So now like Blake and I are like boys now. So like, I just feel like I can bust on Blake anytime. And the cool thing about the team aspect.
Whoa. Let's talk about that for a minute.
What's up?
Blake and you guys out on the stage at Ocala. Does Blake remember what he did?
Oh, he gave me a nice hug and told me he loved me. Yeah, I'm like, Blake, you know this thing's live, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure he did something to your leg there.
Yeah. He did that excited dog
I was like,
thing.
did I just see that? I was like, okay. I was like, that's okay.
We ain't that close. Don't worry, we ain't that close.
I laughed a little bit, but sorry. No, I just wanted to get.
The cool thing about the way Blake fishes, which I didn't know anything about Blake's fishing style, and the way that I fish, we're like very different in a lot of ways. So the cool part about, even if we fish the same lake, him and I are typically doing different things. So we were able to put together some cool patterns for Ocala that worked out. And both.
Yeah.
So it was really neat. And it fast tracked the friendship and the camaraderie between him and I. So we kind of got the whole like new friend thing out of the way. And
that's good. And I think that's what's cool about the whole Kayak Adventure Series thing, where you guys teamed up and got to do that. Like, it does. Like, I didn't get a chance to take part in, but that's a fun way to go out. Everyone's like, there's the team kayak fishing series now that they just had on Lake Murray. That whole concept, the Kayak Adventure Series has the individual and the team. They're already doing it. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's awesome. I love the whole team aspect of it. Whenever we did the 4-man team or whatever it was, but I think the 2-man team, we did an online tournament, and that was fun. With me and Sean doing it, he was in North Carolina, I was in Texas. But with you guys doing it for an event, a day and a quarter, right? To do it is a challenge. But you guys prevailed.
I think we should do FKBT versus Bass Nation tournament. That's what I think.
So I want to talk.
That's a pretty good idea. Most inches combined.
Dude, let's go. Like 25 on 25 or like 20 on 20.
That would. Hey, if you guys have ideas, I'd love to. I love the Bass Nation group. That whole group up there. I
want to see who picks. I want to see who goes on what side. I want to see.
Ooh.
I want to see the drama.
Oh, okay. Hey, what I would love to see in Florida in general is a true state championship.
Me too.
And we own it. We own it here anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Huh?
We own first and second Bass Nation in the FKBT.
Yeah.
So we're good. Like Chris Mitchell and I got first and second in that state championship over there, so it's over here anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, they have they have something that we don't have, right? They
10 fish championships.
Huh?
They have 10 fish championships.
You're throwing blows today.
You said they have something we don't have, and I just wanted to put the data out there.
That's the only thing.
They also give you an opportunity to go try to fish for a blue trophy, right? At the class, which are really, so we're not trying to be some big national trail at this moment. There's no, right? We are a local grassroots trail that is pretty solid, is really good, right? So it gives us an opportunity to do different things. And I'll tell you this right here, like from our standpoint, we have a lot of really highly competitive anglers that do this competitively on the national trail. And then we got some that are doing it for fun and don't compete on a national trail, aren't sponsored, don't do any of that, but yet they win their way into a championship. If you go back and look at data from each tournament we do since the beginning of our trail, go look and see how many anglers at every event base, how many register and how many catch a limit, a 5-fish limit on one day, right? It's less than about 25%, around 25% of our anglers at each event catch a limit, 5 fish, right? That's crazy to think of. Like, you go back and you look at the data, go look at St. John's, for instance. Last year we had on St. John's, it was a bad day. Granted, Blake Abbey caught 99 inches that day, right? But everybody else, right, barely got a bite, right? And everyone, and why we made the 5 fish limit a thing for 2 days is, one, it's a challenge to catch 5 fish for a lot of people, right? Even though we like to say, hey, it's easy, it's quite difficult for
Dude, I'm totally joking.
No,
St.
I know,
John's
but
River
I do want to explain it,
It's
because
hard.
you're joking, but a lot of people probably are upset, and that might be a reason why some people choose probably not to fish our club. But I'm glad you brought it up.
No. If they choose not to fish a club because the championship is 5 fish,
Well,
they didn't want to do it anyways.
Yeah,
Let's be
but
honest.
we can't make everyone happy. But what we can do is give an opportunity for everyone to catch 5 fish.
Well,
dude, St. John's River will kick you in the ball. Well, I can't say it'll humble you, dude. Honestly, I went 5 days just to catch like 74 inches. I fished from Astor to Monroe. Like I put in the work to get like under 80 inches this year. Like it's not going to be easy in September. So the 5 fish thing is actually the smartest move to have everybody catch limits, because, dude, there's a high possibility that 5 fish is all that everybody's going to catch in 2 days.
No, and we did the St. John's as well because of a challenge, right? Last year we were on Toho. I could have easily did really well on first place, right? With the fish that I was catching, I just couldn't upgrade, right? I lost the fish that upgraded, which allowed Seth and Denton to jump me on day one, right? And I was in a very good place and catching a lot of fish, and I'm sitting there like, dang, why didn't we do 10 fish right that day? But it was also, that's part of the challenge. I'm like, wait a minute, like that was a lot of fun, because it gives someone who might not be able to fish on Saturday because of a wedding, say something crazy happens. They can go back out on Sunday and their whole season's not wasted. They can still go out on Sunday and have a chance to catch a limit. Like, you know what I mean? So
I'm totally joking, and I don't take, like, I promise you, I'm glad you brought it up, because it brings up a good point, like for you guys to hear it again, but also for you guys to kind of like tell your side of it too, right? Like we're not trying to run the club in a way that you guys, we want it to be something different, but also something that gives you guys an opportunity to have fun and just, cash out a check at the end of the year and kind of put a big bow on your season, right? So hopefully we do want feedback. We do like the feedback. We are going to do like we do every year. Too is like every single Hobie event and every single Bassmaster event. Those are like just the regular season. Every single one of those does 10 fish, and they do 2 days. And the championship is 3 days with 15 fish.
Yeah.
So I guess when you do grow to that standard, and like we stop a participation trophy, then we can.
You said handing out what?
I didn't say that. Seth said that.
Yeah.
Seth said
what?
That
was great. My bad.
What did he say?
No, he said participation trophies or stickers. But I mean, I was after that event of the championship, which obviously went well for me. I caught 100 fish in 2 days of that event, and going into it, had I not have placed in the top 3 and caught all those fish, I've been like, dude, if this was a 10 fish tournament, I would have smoked it too. So I was on the same boat as you, Bailey. And afterwards, you asked everyone's opinion, like, do you like the 5 fish, the 10 fish? Well, heck, I got first on that event, and I still like the 10 fish. The 10 fish is, for me, is like a consistency thing, and but I understand the reasoning behind it. Like, I totally get why you do it.
Look at Bassmaster this year out in Arizona. 9 fish were cashing checks.
Yeah.
Well, look at Ocalapalooza, Blake.
9 fish could cash checks on St. John's.
Look at Ocalapalooza for you and I, Blake. Unbelievable. We got jumped by 2 guys that just like they caught 1 fish. I'm just
those guys that and then they have the audacity to say, "You're lucky we didn't enter the team." What about day 1?
Hey, it doesn't matter about day 1.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter about day 1. That we love the concept. It's there's a national trail that's doing 2 days 5 fish, and everyone loves it. Right?
Who is?
I don't care. KAS, you can catch 5 fish on day. KAS. You guys can do that. But guess what?
Dude.
We come back from behind, and
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
look.
The
Y'all were
first
scared though.
thing-
Y'all thought we signed up for the team
Hey,
division. I know
can you
y'all
show
did.
us that
Oh, yeah.
participation trophy, Bailey?
Who? Whoa. What participation trophy?
Dude, show it.
Which
He's
one?
saying, show us how you beat both of us. That's what he's saying. He's saying, show us the trophy where you beat both of us.
And I would
I
100%
both
thought
of
you
you-
guys were in the team division too. When you said
Yeah,
you guys didn't sign up for team, I was like, let's go.
Yeah, Seth come up to me. Seth came up to me. He's like, man, y'all were on them today. And I'm like, we knew we were going to be on them. And I was like, congrats. He's like, what are you congratulating me for? I'm like, you guys won team. He's like, no, we didn't. I'm like, Blake did too. I'm like, yeah, no, you guys did. We didn't sign up for it.
And
if
then-
you saw Blake and Seth's face, they were like, whoo, thank God.
Let's go.
And tell Sean, just to be clear, I walked up to Bailey after I found that out. I was like, dude, thank you so much for not getting in the team division. And he's like, we want to spread the wealth out. I'm like, thank you so much, bro. Because if I didn't get first place in this team, my wife was going to leave me.
Yeah. Hey, no,
Bailey's known to hand out a few checks here and there, you know.
Dude, I hand out welfare checks like I'm the Willy Wonka factory over here, okay?
No, I was over the moon that Chris got an opportunity to fish in a tournament that he wasn't running because you were able to to be selfless and go out there and do what you did. And like, I love the story. You were starting to film Daryl, and Daryl's like, what are you doing? I love that about Daryl. I love that about your friendship. It's
Yeah.
like, I want to be a cheerleader too.
Is Daryl still in the shadows right now?
No, he dipped out. I was trying to bring him on like 20 minutes ago, and he dipped out. So he's probably at the casino right now. So no, sorry about that again, guys, for keeping you guys on here a little bit later. But trying to have some organization on it and bringing you guys in was kind of the key there, not kind of going all over the place. So we should have.
We both fished Panasofsky in the tournament and pre-fish. And one thing I noticed, one day the water was chocolate milk, and the next day it was crystal clear. That lake cleans up quick.
Yep.
So,
Can you say that again? Can you say that again, Blake?
No, that's true, dude.
I know it is.
When I went to pre-fish, I was like, dude, I even went from braid to 20-pound mono. I use mono. People clown on me, but I actually put mono on because I was like, dude, I said this water's clear, and then I went back to the tournament. I'm like, what happened to the water, Seth? I'm like, dude, at the boat ramp it was yellow. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that shit, it changed overnight. And there's like rollers coming in. I'm like, why am I here?
And I'm like, dude, it's fine. I got a ton of fish. I'm about to go catch them.
You're like, we're all good. We're all good, buddy.
So he caught fish. He caught himself. He did all of that, right? But
he did.
Oh, dude,
he did.
that and people get hooks out all the time. That I think my bruise is mostly gone now, but that hook went into the vein in my thumb, the main vein that comes through my thumb.
Oh,
went into that vein, dude. It wasn't just like the meaty part; it went in the vein, and I had to rip that sucker out. And I had a bruise the whole way down, like my wrist. Like,
oh wow! Did you get it? Make sure it wasn't infected. You good?
I think we're good now. No, I didn't go anywhere, but my hand still works. And it's going.
No, man.
He goes. I didn't even need that fish.
Yeah, I didn't even need it.
Well, individually, Blake, you finished in the top 10, correct?
I was sixth, and Seth was third.
Yep. So yeah, we had Seth in the top 3. Blake was 6th. I made a post. We had like 15 anglers inside the top 20. Right.
That was my favorite event by far that I've ever
done.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kayak Adventure Series and Drew Gregory, those guys put on a class act. I wish there was more folks that got involved. I'm going to be competing in the one in Minnesota in May or July, and we're going to be traveling around and doing all that. I know there's a lot of other anglers in our club that are going to be traveling, doing to the East Coast and the rivers there. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully one of us in the club is able to take home Angler of the Year or Team of the Year. That hopefully you guys are going to try to go take and do that as well. That'd be a lot of fun for all of us to go to the championship there and have a big presence there and take home some more trophies. So
we have 5 kids between both of us, 5 girls between both.
I know. Hey, make a trip out of it. Go do some camping. Go make an adventure or something out of it and take home another dub. So, but no, man. Hey, Blake and Seth, man, I truly do appreciate you guys coming on and spending 2 hours with us. Blake and Seth, I truly appreciate it. What you got, Todd?
I was just going to say, Blake, I saw the video of your daughter drumming. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We're going. I'm taking them to Costa Rica on Monday, and we're going out for Blue Marlin with the kids. So stay tuned for
Nice.
that.
That's going to be awesome, man. Congratulations. Have fun. Be safe out there. Catch some fish. But Blake and Seth, I truly appreciate you guys. They were the top finishers for the team division for the Kayak Adventure Series there, taking home first place. I'm not sure what you guys went home with money-wise, but that was still a pretty big payout. I know that for the amount of people that showed up, I think they're like the payouts there were crazy based off of that. So super cool. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm gonna let you guys go in the background there.
You'll see you at Panisovsky.
But we'll see you at Pan.
See you,
Yeah,
Pan.
awesome.
Yep. Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Seth.
Yep.
See you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep. We'll see you guys on Pan.
Later, guys.
Yep. Later. Well, Harrelson dropped off, so we're not going to be able to
I
talk
got
about
you.
first place.
I got you, Bailey. We'll talk about second place. You know what's kind of depressing?
What?
We don't have dishes clanking in the background. Molly making all kinds of noise.
She's
Hi, Molly.
watching me, though. She's like, why aren't you still on here? It's been 2 hours. But
yeah, so
Yeah, but
Bailey.
it's only almost 8 o'clock your time, right?
Yeah, 7:55. Yep.
Yeah.
But real quick before we jump into that, I do just want to say thank you to all the guys, all the anglers, and Amy and all of those guys for coming on tonight and telling us a little bit about their Bassmaster and Kayak Adventure Series adventure that we went on here in February. There was a lot that went on, and we truly appreciate you guys showing up at Rodman, the Bassmaster, and the Kayak Adventure Series events that we had going on. We truly do appreciate that. And we're moving into March with Panisovsky, and then April, we're going to be hosting 2 more events there. So we got 3 more regular season events that you guys can cash in for Angler of the Year points and trying to get your way into the Florida Kayak Bass Trail Championship on St. John's. So, but yeah, if you guys want to jump in a little bit about me, I can tell my story about Harrelson and I's adventure, and then we can put a wrap on it.
Real quick, you look like you're getting ready to sail on a Navy boat.
What now?
You look like you're getting ready.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's pretty cold outside, but I hadn't taken my jacket off yet. But yeah. So
Bailey, just for the people that don't know your background, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
So a little bit about myself. I started bass fishing when I moved to Florida, like competitively bass fishing in 2020. Right. I bass fished my whole life, boat, kayak, farm ponds, lakes, whatever. I grew up on Lake Hartwell. I fished freshwater, saltwater my entire life, back and forth. That's all I really did is for fun outside of sports. But when I got back from my deployment and COVID hit, I was stationed in MacDill in Tampa, and met up with some folks and started fishing out at Tannerock and did that pretty much every weekend for 6-7 months, and ran across Sean and Chris Clutter and Ryan and those guys, and started fishing with them. And then we did this. What was that team thing, Sean? What was that called?
It was what, KBT back then?
Yeah, something KBT. We did that. That didn't work out. We just loved fishing together.
We were the Kraken.
Yeah, we cracked, whatever. Cracked 0 a lot. But
I was cracking limits for us. Me and Mitchell.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I met some really good people doing that, and then I signed up to fish the KAF, and then that disbanded. And then me, Sean, Ryan, and Chris Clutter, we all created what we have now as the Florida Kayak Bass Trail, and brought Todd on shortly after that. And then rest is history, right? I didn't really do many national trails at all, really. I did the KBF National Championship on Kentucky Lake, did not do well there. And then did the KBT stuff, and then did a lot of the online tournament monthly stuff, and that was really, really fun. And then I just met Sean, Chris Mitchell, Daryl Harrelson, all of those guys, and we hit it off and just fished every single weekend from Saturday to Sunday, sun up to sundown. We created what we call the Weekend Trash Talking Trail, and just created this bond that to me is never going to be broken, right? The friendships that I've created through fishing here in Florida have been just amazing. The people I've met, the experiences I've had has just really shaped who I am today in fishing. I wouldn't be the fisherman I am today without Sean. right? Showing me how to throw a jig, a swim jig. Harrelson with cranking. For me, if you knew me before anything, it was a soft plastic fluke, zoom fluke, and a jerk bait, like a Rapala, Chad, or not Chad, the ripstop, and a couple other little things, but that's all I would throw. I was spinning. I would spin to win, right? Spinning. All I had is a bunch of spinning reels. And then shortly after I got started doing competitively, I started throwing bait casters, and the rest is history. But yeah, the Kayak Adventure Series is truly probably one of my first national events that I've ever really competed in person. I tried to do the KBF when it came to Kissimmee like 2 years ago, and I got in a bad car accident and lost my truck and everything, so I couldn't do that. And then ever since then, I've just been doing the FKBT stuff, and running those. Hopefully, doing an okay job at doing that. But then competing and running and doing that kind of stuff. When I'm fishing for FKBT, when I say I just want to catch one fish, it's really to get AOI points, because the rest of the time I'm really just kind of coordinating and doing other things. My mind's really not in fishing. Whenever I'm hosting these events in person, I'm trying to take care of you guys. So if I can get a limit, great. But if not, I don't really care. Last year I was able to do really, really well and finish second or third really in the state championship, and surpass my goals there. So this year when I found out I had orders, I would hate to take Angler of the Year points from you guys. So I'm not going to be really, at this point, I don't think I'll really be able to compete in the championship anyways. But I just want to go out and have fun. But this Kayak Adventure Series event was an opportunity for me to not have to worry about directing anything, and really just allowed me to focus in on fishing and having fun. And we see what fishing and having fun allows me the opportunity to do. And I was able to put a decent limit in the boat that day. But yeah, that's a little bit about me, and just super thankful to be here with you guys. So, but yeah.
So tell us about your day, how it started out on
Yeah.
Friday and going into Saturday.
So I'll start off with the week. Me and Harrelson, we took the week off, and we pre-fished. Oh, well, we started on Monday because you're only allowed to do 4 days of pre-fishing. We only got 3 in because one of our days was canceled. We didn't go out because it was raining and nasty weather. But we took the week off Monday. We went and pre-fished Orange Lake. It was me, Mitchell, and Harrelson. We kind of went and checked our spots out and did our thing. Caught a lot of small fish in pre-fishing, like 16 and a half, 15 and a half. I found one spot that was really, really good. I caught a 20 and a half, a 19 and a 3/4, and a 17 and a half in within 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. But it was a very far distance away from where I wanted to fish. And I'm like, oh, it's probably going to get beat up by boats before I even get there. Harrelson caught fish. I don't know what Mitchell did. I'm not sure if he was able to get on them. But pre-fishing went just about as expected there. We went and tried a new lake on Tuesday, and it's a lake that we had fished kind of like 6 or 7 months previously, and we thought maybe it would hold some fish. I didn't catch anything there when we pre-fished it, or just we went out. Actually, we pre-fished it or just fun fished it before our Orange Lake event this year. We couldn't get out to Orange Lake in time to pre-fish, so we just went to that lake and just went out there and had fun. Met Sean up there, and we knew it had potential. We never knew anything. We didn't know it was going to be inbounds for Kayak Adventure Series. We're like, oh, we might be able to host an FKBT event out here at some point. That's really what we do, is we go out and explore new lakes and see if it's capable of hosting an event successfully, with boat launches, restrooms, places to do events, award ceremonies and stuff. And I was like, this lake right here really has everything. You have boat launches on the south end and on the central east side, the west side. Like, this is going to be a phenomenal place to host an event one year. And we went out there, pre-fished one side of the lake, caught mudfish. That was it. And we got up to the main central point of the lake, and we shot across. And around 1:30, we got over to that side of the lake. Within 20 minutes, a 9-pounder was caught, a 6-pounder was caught. I lost a 10 plus easily. Caught a couple other fish, and we were in that area for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and we left. We went home. We went all the way back to where our boat ramp was, and we left. Wednesday, rain, nothing. We didn't go back out. Thursday, we went back to Orange Lake. caught I caught like 40 or 50 16.5-inch fish. And I was like, this ain't going to work. We left, got off the water. And then Friday comes around. Obviously, no pre-fishing on Friday. It's the event. We went out to our spot that we had pre-fished on Tuesday. I caught a 19.5 and a 17.5, and I was happy. I didn't even touch the line, the grass line, or any of the stuff that we had pre-fished. We didn't even touch it. I went shallow, and I busted the bank all the way down, and I caught the fish that I caught throwing a swim jig and a chatterbait. Harrelson didn't catch any. I think Harrelson caught a 16.5 on day one.
Yeah, he caught 16 3/4.
Yeah. And I could tell he was a little down and out a little bit that evening. Just things didn't pan out right that we wanted to, like they did. But we knew they were there, and we knew it was going to take a whole day to get them. And day 2 comes around. We all launched from our area. We were the only 3 kayakers on this lake for both days. No other kayaker was anywhere near us. So we knew we had it ourselves. We didn't have to rush. We got to do what we wanted to do. I went and started where I caught fish on day 1, the 2 fish on day 1. My chatterbait rod broke my line. I couldn't have my chatterbait. With that not happening, I wouldn't have been in second place. My chatterbait rod breaking and doing what it did is why I finished where I did, because it forced me to do something that I'm not good at and I'm not comfortable doing. I promise you. Like, it forced me to do that. It forced me to slow down, and it forced me to do something that I'm not comfortable with. And it proved, because up until noon, I didn't have a single fish in the boat at all. And at that point, had said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to record Harrelson, because if you guys have watched, Harrelson had 107 inches before noon. Before, I think it was like 11 o'clock, he was at like 102 inches.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I'm not going to fish. I'm like, I'm going to go and document this, because they didn't have the drones. They didn't have camera boats or anything there. I was like, but I'm going to capture what Harrelson's doing, because it's special. He holds the record right now, single day record for 107 inches being caught in Kayak Adventure Series. Their very short history that they've been around, but that's huge. One day, 107 inches. I wanted to capture it, take videos. I was sending them to Drew all morning so he can post them and have them. And then Harrelson looked at me and he said, hey, man, you need to go fish. Go do your thing. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, okay. So about 20 minutes after that, I caught my first 20.5. I think is what it was. I'm like, okay, so now I'm sitting at 3 fish, a 20.5, a 19.5, and a 17.5. I'm like, 2 hours go by, or 2 hours left. All I need is 2 more fish. And I'm like, okay, that's doable. Didn't catch another fish until I think 2:25. 2:25 was my next fish. It was a 19 or 20, whatever. It was my other 20. And I'm like, oh man, I'm at 4 inches. I'm at like 9 or something. I was like middle of the pack. And at 2:49, I caught my 5th fish to get me to 96 or 97.5 inches. No, actually, no, sorry. I caught my 5th fish at 2:25, and my coal fish was at 2:49. Because I was in 3rd, right, Sean?
I think you were in 3rd.
Yeah, I was in 3rd, and then I needed a 1/4-inch upgrader. I needed an 18.25 to surpass Seth Taylor. And at 2:49, I caught a fish, put it on the board, and it was 18.25. Just what I needed to go and 1/4 of an inch over Seth Taylor there to secure second place. Well, up to that point, second place. So that's how my day went. I showed you guys before, but I was flipping a medlock flipping jig. It was the same thing Harrelson was doing. It's the same thing that we called him on in practice. So it was nothing new. I just hate fishing that way. And if I can catch him any other way, we would catch him any other way. I would do that. I promise you. But that was just where the fish were. And that's what I had to do. And I was able to, I lost a couple fish earlier in the day that just because of my inexperience with flipping. But I was able to secure. I should have never caught the 20.5. It was caught up at the root of the reed, at the root down there. And I was taking my rod and pushing down because I thought I was just snagged. I was like, oh, this is done. And then I pulled up and I saw the flash of the fish. And I'm like, oh crap. And I reached down like on the side, my knee in the gun, like in the gunnel, I'm reaching down, trying to get it out like a foot into the water. And that's why I said I should have never caught that fish, because I was literally just jabbing my rod into the water, trying to break it loose. But the hook was just pinned in the. I mean, it wasn't coming undone. That medlock jig and the hook, it wasn't coming undone. Like I would have had to snap my rod in half and just leave it there for that, and I would have never known a fish was on it. But I was able to bring the fish in the boat, and it definitely, that got me hyped. I think everybody in a mile radius heard me yell and get excited with it. But me and Harrelson, again, we were in the same area, but we never were within casting distance of one another. We were just rotating and fishing in and out in different reeds and lily pads and stuff. And it just happened to work out. He would go through an area as I was coming around and doing my circles, and it was like magic, man. It was something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. As far as, competitively fishing and getting to do it with Harrelson was truly remarkable. He caught his 24 and something 22 minutes into the tournament, right? So that's how you started tournament off. And then he caught another 20. I left after I took pictures of it. I left and went like half a mile down the stretch and worked my way back. And I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm at like 90 something inches." I'm like, "Holy cow, really good job. Like, that's awesome, man." And I'm like, he's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going back up to the boat ramp. I'm done." And I just started doing my whole thing, doing my laps. And yeah, it is what it is, man. It's kind of history is what it is now. But
I'm super proud you won it on a jig.
Yeah,
that's the highlight of the day.
Yeah, so I have them both right here. I put them on this little trophy, but this medlock jig here was the deal, and this is a Bass Pro Shop. Their new soft plastic, the Crawdaddy that they have is phenomenal creature bait for these things. And this is actually one I won it on or got second on, and it's missing its second weed guard. That's how much I used it. Sorry, where's it at? Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I wish Harrelson was still on here because what he did on that day is just truly remarkable. Super happy for him that finally have paid off for him to get a first place and for his name to actually be out there and get recognized, because it's well deserving. Seth Taylor puts in a lot of work. Chris Mitchell, all of these guys, Sherman Bishop, we put in a lot of work. And in February, it showed, right? And on a national level, and folks are finally starting to know what the Florida Kayak Bass Trail is all about. Even the Bass Nation folks, so like you guys are competing there. You guys we're making a name for ourselves for what we're doing and showing out and competing across the national trails. So really good job to you guys. I'm very fortunate now. I'm going to be doing the FKBT stuff on the back end, but I'm kind of excited because I'm going to get to start a new chapter in my kayak fishing career with smallmouth, walleye. I mean, just there's so many other species of fish here in North Dakota where I'm actually going to get to go and try to do my thing with the Bass Nation here in North Dakota and Minnesota. So y'all are still going to see me. Hopefully I qualify for some of the Bassmaster stuffs individually through the North Dakota and the Minnesota stuff, but I'm excited about it. That's why I'm going to start trying to do some YouTube and ed videos and stuff to kind of share my journey while I'm up near Canada for you guys to kind of see what I'm doing. So I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm going to have to solicit some help, but I'm definitely going to try to start documenting what I'm doing out here to kind of show you guys what's up. So, but yeah, that's all I got, Todd, Sean. That's all.
Good work out there, bud.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys and everything that you guys do. And for the club, we're at almost 2.5 hours. So we need to drop this like it's hot. 3 people are still watching. For the 3 of you that are still watching, drop your name in the comment section below. I want to know who you are. We'll figure something out there. Frederick Anderson, don't forget you have a free registration as well for the registration sign up deadline that you guys, if you're not watching or if you're watching this later, reach out to me. We'll get you signed up. You got a free registration for a regular season event. So but yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Todd, again, thank you guys. It's Granger, man. You're awesome. Appreciate it, dude. Rookie of the year so far. He's leading rookie of the year, and I believe angler of the year.
I think he's up there. I think he's won an AOI.
One, I think he is. Yeah, let me check it real quick. But yeah, man, awesome. Appreciate you. David Myers is still with us. True player. Appreciate you, David.
I was hoping it wasn't just us 3.
Hey, you and Dave need to go out there and hammer him this weekend, Todd.
Yeah.
You got to get revenge on the pan
I need,
after the last outing.
Hey,
you know,
and Granger, real quick, man, I've been busy. I need to make an order for those soft plastic baits. And would those be able to make it to Panasofsky if I send you the order, the screenshot of what we wanted ordered? Just drop in here if that'll be able to make it, because right now we're running low on giveaways and want to make sure we got some stuff to give away at Pan before the championship. But I'll make that order tomorrow and send it to you, and then I'll pay for it, and then just hand it to Todd whenever you're at, if you can get it for Pan, if you're able to do that. But again, Shad, Todd, I appreciate you guys for allowing me an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about my adventure there. It was a lot of fun. I love you guys down in Florida. I'm still here. I'm super pumped for the remainder of the season. I hope I can make it to the championship for that award ceremony there. But again, love you guys. Appreciate all that you guys do for the club. I appreciate all the anglers and all the members here. If you pick stuff off my website, I have all that on hand. What about for the soft plastic company that you're working with? What about that? Sorry, Granger. I'll message you, Granger. I'll message you, so we're not doing it here on live, but I'll text you here about that, and I'll send it. But we need to get off of here. My wife is asking me why am I still on here. But I appreciate you guys. Tight lines. Best of luck on Lake Panasofsky. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to myself, Sean, or Todd, and we'll get you squared away. But make sure that you drop a like, share, comment your name to receive credit for the mandatory captains meeting. But until then, we'll see you guys on Lake Pan.
Later.
look forward to it. See ya.